7-yard run by Anthony Dorsett. We understand the longest run from scrimmage in Dallas history. And Efren Herrera will start it with 11:49 to go. And the Cardinals have a chance. It's Metcalf to the 35 and dragged down from behind. Aaron Kyle was up in front. Scott Laidlaw, number 35, got him from behind.
And if you wonder how a run like Tony Dorsett just made occurs, look at the center. Blocking on Tim Carney. And then a missed tackle. And the Cardinals have had trouble with that all year. They just haven't been tackling well. But Fitzgerald
injured on the play as well, Alex. And there's a penalty going against the Cardinals.
Well, so that's exactly why they drafted Anthony Dorsett, was for runs like that. The Cardinals have never had an explosive back like that in the history of that team. Not like him.
Well, it's a clipping penalty against the Cardinals. They put it in play 1st and 10 on their own 15. So it is 1st and 10 from the Cardinal 15. Final score, Minnesota 14, Detroit 7. So all you folks who saw that ball game, pull up a chair and join us. We've got a dandy. Wayne Morris with Terry Metcalf out in front trying to block, and he was trying to block D.D. Lewis and couldn't quite do it.
And, of course, that's the score right here. 10-10, and don't go away. It's still happening.
Take your shoes off and let these boys do the rolling around St. Louis Stadium. It's 10-10. The Cowboys had a field goal from Herrera. The Cardinals had a field goal from Bakken and a 62-yard touchdown run by Terry Metcalf.
And you can know that number 17, Jim Hart, is not going to sit on a tie.
No.
I can't say a lead.
2nd and 5 from the 20. In motion comes Wayne Morris. There goes Metcalf. He's behind Roger Finney, and he got out to the 25. Remember, it was Roger Finney who threw the key block that opened up that 62-yard run by Metcalf.
And they're working on that Dallas left side. Jethro Pugh and Ed Jones, chiefly not singing in disrespect to them, but Brother Conrad Dobler and Dan Deerdorf are two of the best. They're running behind their blocks at the point of attack.
Terry Metcalf coming out for a well-deserved breather. Jerry Lattin comes in to take over for him, number 32. Lattin can run. He had a 57-yard touchdown run against Detroit last year. 1st and 10 from the 25. Wayne Morris surviving a very high tackle by Bob Brunig, number 53, who almost took his head off.
He is a exceptionally strong runner. They say he bench presses about 360 pounds, that he can really get it on.
Yeah, Brunig, number 53, plays the guitar, and I think there were a few notes heard just then in Wayne Morris's head.
Brunig has come along well, though. He really has. His development replacing Leroy Jordan has been remarkable.
2nd and 7 from the Cardinal 28. They swing a little to Morris. He's got Dobler in front of him, and he gets across the 40-yard line and goes out of bounds. Dobler was throwing the block at Bob Brunig and cleared him out of there. So this time, Brunig had somebody his size, and he was taken away.
Dallas had a stun on that time. Larry Cole in the game, you see Ed Too Tall Jones caught inside. That's going to knock off some of the pursuit that might otherwise have been in that area. Good block downfield, and anytime you see a run of any distance, you're going to see those receivers blocking downfield. There's another one there. Run out of bounds by Bill Gregory over there.
So 1st and 10 on the Cardinal 43-yard line. Remember, they started on their own 15 because of the penalty. Hart, with his back hanging close, goes deep down the left side, and it's intercepted and dropped. Cliff Harris had both hands on the ball. The pass intended for Mel Gray. Harris and Kyle were there, and Cliff had both meat hooks on it.
Well, let's kind of take a look in at Conrad Dobler, because he might have been the person guilty of holding if that is the call. Oh, we got Mel Gray. Kyle's got the coverage on him with the help over there from Cliff Harris. Usually Cliff would make that interception. He's got 2 this year.
So the penalty, let's read it.
Offense, 66, holding.
I can't believe it.
Would you believe?
Conrad
my
Dobler
man
holding?
That's my main man, Conrad. They caught him again. Oh, brother, he's got a lot of publicity, and he says it's going against him now. The officials are looking for him.
Yeah,
He's
that
built a
could be.
reputation. He's a scrambler. That guy was released one time. He said, that's a lonely feeling being on waivers. I'm going to do anything in my power to keep from ever being again.
Can't blame him for that. 1st and 20 from the Cardinal 33. Hard on a draw to Wayne Morris, and down he goes. The first guy to hit him big, number 56, Thomas Henderson, who's a super athlete, and down he went. A reminder, starting tomorrow night, Logan's Run takes you to the outer reaches of the universe for mind-bending adventure. Every Monday. That's Monday night at 8, 7 Central and Mountain for Logan's Run. Alex Hawkins, have you ever had mind-bending adventures?
Not since last night.
Jerry Metcalf and Jerry Latin in and out of the lineup, and right now Metcalf is back in there. 2nd and 18 from the 35. And Hart, under heavy pressure, gets it away. Broken up indeed by Benny Barnes, who just got a hand in front of Mel Gray.
Big rush there by Harvey Martin. Just about the sack. Let's see if we can see it in the picture this time. Look at the top right part of your screen. You see the big rush coming in from the outside.
The reason
Harvey
there's
Martin.
a big rush, offside Dallas just now.
I got you. Jim Hart should no way thrown that ball. The coverage was there. He tried to force it. As we say, that's not his long suit. It's throwing on a run or scrambling at all. He needs to stay in that.
Defense 77, offside.
That would be Big Bill Gregory. So Jim Hart with 2nd and 13 from the 40 when we find out that Washington leading Tampa Bay 10-0, but it comes tough against them.
There went my upset of the week. I thought maybe Tampa could, but they haven't scored but 1 touchdown this year, and the defense scored that. Having trouble with their offense down there in Tampa.
2nd and 13 for Jim Hart and the Cardinals on their own 40-yard line. Gray is left, Harris is right. The backs both stay in, and he goes for the bomb intended for Gray. Touchdown! He beat Mel Renfro. And there's a fight on the field.
We have got some action.
It is Harvey Martin being restrained, and down at the bottom there is even more. As they get up, Conrad Dobler was at the bottom.
He's at the bottom of everything.
With Jim Hart, Mel Gray taking that away from Mel Renfro.
I'm telling you, when those two team up, they can make things happen in a hurry. That's his first touchdown pass of the year, and that's one of the reasons the Cardinals haven't been very effective on offense. Mel Gray can make the big play for you. See the big rush there? The ball, look at the adjustment he makes on the ball. He was looking over his other shoulder, turned and looked over his left shoulder and made the reception on a perfectly thrown pass.
And for Mel Renfro, 14 years in the big leagues, he had his nose in the rug as Mel Gray carried it in. So the Cardinals come roaring back, and it is 16-10 St. Louis. Jim Bakken will try to make it 17. Boy, they really got a mix-up there. Everybody watching Gray dance in the end zone, and there was Dobler, Hart, Harvey Martin. They were really going at it.
That's going to give that Cardinal defense a lift, too, because they expect the Cardinals. They've got the material to score a lot of points, and they haven't been doing it this year. That's going to give that defense, make them play a whole lot harder.
That was
watch
a
Roger come
60-yard.
Roger be back.
60-yard touchdown pass to Mel Gray. And now Bakken trying to add one to it. It's up. It's good. Oh, don't go wandering away. We got 9 minutes and 3 seconds to go in the second quarter. The Cardinals 17 and the Cowboys 10.
Mr. Highboom.
Huh?
Mr. Highboom.
Yes?
Yeah, look, we understand that you're taking a trip with us tomorrow.
Trip?
Yeah, well, we want you to know that Avis is working right now.
Avis?
It's vacuuming your car, checking the oil, brakes, even the air and spare tire.
Spare tire.
One of the ways Avis tries harder is working at night, so you're ready in the morning. Yeah. Oh, by the way, it's a Chrysler Cordoba, and it's blue. See you in the morning.
See you in the morning.
We try harder, Avis, we don't know another way.
Want to cut your fuel bills? Whether your house is new or old, put insulation everywhere. It can save you money. Your attic, you need a 6 to 12-inch blanket of pink Owens Corning fiberglass. Walls, full insulation. Unheated crawl space, insulate below the floor. Live where it's cold, insulate basement walls. See your Owens Corning fiberglass supplier to learn all about insulation. Insulation is cheaper than oil.
It took 6 plays, 85 yards. The capper, the 60-yard touchdown pass to Mel Gray. And the Cardinals are leading Dallas 17-10. And Jim Bakken kicking off Larry Brinson and Butch Johnson, the twin safeties for Dallas. Bakken hits a knuckleball to the left side. Butch Johnson at the 10. He has Saldy and Brinson in front of him and too many Cardinals. And some more bad blood now. That's Mike Hegman. And Hedgeman was angry, and he is being restrained by Williams. And away they go. Boys are a little angry this early in the day. Don't forget the CBS Sports Spectacular next Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Among other things, highlights of the Jockey Club Gold Cup, then the Chunichi Cup, and cap that off with the world's strongest men. That's next Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Well, we got some pretty strong men here. Cardinals trying to throw Cowboys, vice versa, all over the turf at Bush Memorial Stadium.
You got some emotion out there today. There's no tomorrow for the Cardinals. It's early in the in the season to consider themselves out of if they should lose today, but brother, they don't want to be 1-3. What was it? 2 years ago they started 2-2 though, and then won about 9 straight games, or 9 out of 10 or something like that.
Well, here comes Dallas now. 1st and 10 on their own 25-yard line, trailing by a touchdown. On a play-action fake to Dorsett, Staubach throws to the left side to Robert Newhouse. Mark Arneson refuses to let go of those big thighs and brings him down.
Mark Arneson been used to playing in that middle, and they moved him to the outside, and he made the transition rather easily.
His younger brother played for Dallas, so it runs in the family.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
2nd down and 2 from the 33, a pickup of 8 on that play. So Staubach in a big chunk starts to get his ball club moving. And Dorsett is the deep man behind Newhouse. And Dorsett with Newhouse blocking Worley, and Worley still couldn't make it, but there's a flag. Newhouse threw a block at Roger Worley. Worley pushed him aside, and then the flag. We'll have to take another look.
I want to see what Worley was doing on that side of the field. He plays the defensive right corner. I guess they went into I didn't see the formation that time. What we got here? Just plain old holding.
Let's see if it's holding Newhouse on Worley.
There's Kenny Reeves, defensive captain for the Cardinals. Ron Jankowski, drafted fairly high, 6 or 8 years ago, 7 years ago.
17-10 Cardinals, 8 minutes and 9 seconds to go in the 2nd quarter. This penalty will be marched off against Dallas. They had 2nd and 2.
Forty-four. You had it, Newhouse. You were right. 44.
So it was Robert Newhouse in trying to block off Roger Worley, and Newhouse was guilty of holding. So that's a big call of 10. That makes it 2nd and 12. The ball is back on the Dallas 23-yard line. Drew Pearson wide right, Golden Richards wide left. Dorsett is in there with Newhouse, and the backs are split. Tight end on the right side. Staubach looking for Newhouse, but then throws down the left side, and it's complete to Drew Pearson. And Lee Nelson pushes him out of bounds.
What a beautifully run route that time. That's exactly the way they teach it. He went downfield about 15, 18 yards and then came back for the football. Watch as Roger Staubach makes a perfect throw in a very disciplined pattern by a very disciplined receiver. Look how he came back at it. Kept both feet in bounds. That's a good job. Lee Nelson bumped him out.
And if Newhouse had stayed down in his area, he would have been wide open as well. It really did.
He can't catch, so. Newhouse is not. There they are.
There they are.
The Wild Bunch.
That's Roger Finney, number 60. Tom Banks, number 54. Dan Deerdorf, number 72.
And number 72, I think, in my mind, is the best tackle in football.
1st and 10 on the Dallas 35. Dorsett on a play-action fake to Dorsett. Staubach under some heat. Gets it off to Newhouse, who stumbles across the 35. goes down at the 40. Billy Joe Dupree was trying to take Sensible apart. And you see a little heat on Roger Staubach.
Had a little blitz going that time. Let's see if we can pick it up over here. Number 53, Steve Neal's going inside. Jankowski outside. When they blitz, the linebacker inside. There you see him. There's Steve Neal's. That defensive end will maintain an outside position. Hold him in that pocket. Oh, that was Carney, wasn't it? Well, they had 2 blitzes that time.
2nd and 5 from the 40-yard line of Dallas. Staubach to Dorsett at the 40-yard line. And Dorsett tied up by Niels, belted by Mike Dawson. Niels did a little dance step to keep Dorsett in place, and then Dawson erased him.
Dawson's going to be a good football player. Number 1 draft choice. Let's look in on Tony Dorsett. No place to go. Catches it nicely in his hands. Good job there by Steve Neals, bringing him back into the pursuit of Mike Dawson.
Boy, Mike Dawson knocked his accent off there with that Dorsett.
Yes, sir.
He knocked a syllable into foul territory.
Drop him like a bad habit, buddy.
3rd and 1 on the Dallas 44. Dorsett and Newhouse back of Staubach. Pearson on the wing. Here comes Dorsett. And he carries it out across the 50. Roger Worley came up to meet him along with Tim Carney. And Dorsett, with great power leg action, just drove it across the midfield stripe. Final score, Baltimore 45, Miami 28.
Burt Jones throwing 3 touchdown passes in that game that I see right here.
A shocker.
Yes, sir. That one really did come as a surprise. As we mentioned, Terry Bradshaw was hurt in that game, and I hope nothing serious, but they took him for x-rays at the hospital, as I report.
1st and 10 from the 50. 5 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the 2nd quarter. 17-10 Cardinals. Staubach down the right side, intended for Drew Pearson. No good. Lee Nelson right there.
Well, he's been mentioned a few times today. But coming right at you, as I'll be. Here we go. Roger in his pocket. Just absolutely thrown perfectly there. Not much of an effort there for some reason, but Drew Pearson, he's a better receiver than that.
So it's 2nd and 10. The ball on the 50-yard line. Dorsett and Newhouse. Drew Pearson wide right. Golden Richards in a slot. Dupree, the tight end, on the left side. 2nd and 10. Newhouse staying in to block. He can't do it. John Zook came in and took his head off.
Yes, sir.
Number 63, John Zook out of Kansas.
He's been out most of the year with some injuries. This is the first week he's been healthy enough to play. John Zook, he's going to help that Cardinal team. He's a big pass rusher, and they certainly need that. Look at him coming around the outside. Roger never saw him, but he felt him. John Zook, they got him to trade number 1 draft choice, I guess 2 years ago, was it?
Yeah, the Atlanta trade with Greg Kindle.
That's right.
Tim Carney out now in that nickel defense. Jeff Severson comes in. The ball on the 39-yard line of Dallas. 3rd and 21. So Roger took his lumps on that play. There you see the 3rd down efficiency. Dupre is loosened off the tight end spot. Pearson on the left. Butch Johnson on the right. And Staubach looking and running to the left side to Pearson, who is touched by Worley and then goes down. Roger Worley was unable to keep him, but he got a couple of teammates to come over to make sure he wouldn't get away. And whoops,
look at here.
That's Dawson pointing to Drew Pearson, saying, you and me.
A mismatch.
By the way, Mike Dawson is 6'4", 274. When he says you and me, you don't answer.
Pearson didn't look like he wanted to pursue that.
Don't forget, the CBS Sports Spectacular, the entire running of the 59th $300,000 Jockey Club Gold Cup race will be on the CBS Sports Spectacular next Saturday at 4:30 p.m. 4th and 9 from the 49-yard line. Metcalf all alone on his 10. Danny White kicking from the 40, and he got a good one over to the left side to Metcalf on his 5. Chased by Randy White and buried at the last moment by Stalls at the 15.
Good coverage by that punting team, the Dallas Cowboys.
Stalls almost took Metcalf's entire jersey off after Randy White first grabbed him. David Stalls, who finally brought him down, by the way, is a rookie, and that's a little news in that defensive front side, but not so much on the special team.
How many did they have this year? Cowboys, 8 or 9, something like that?
That's
every
about
year,
it.
8 or 9, 10 rookies make that ball club, but they turn them over, bro.
They only have 3 on the defense. 1st and 10 on the Cardinal 14-yard line. Too many blues over there. Bob Brunig leading the charge. Brunig, of course, number 53 for Dallas, had to really fill a big pair of shoes as we see halftime Atlanta, San Francisco, no score. Bob Brunig, a 3-year man out of Arizona State, all he is doing is replacing Leroy Jordan.
Oh, brother, that's hard enough in itself. Leroy told me his last year, he said, I got a rookie behind me. If I don't play the best football I've ever played in my life, I'm not going to last the season. He said, Brunig will move me out of there.
Well, we're seeing him now. 2nd and 6 from the 18-yard line. Hart giving it to Wayne Morris. Metcalf tried to block for him, but he couldn't quite take D.D. Lewis out of there, and Aaron Kyle came up and made the hit.
Well, you hear a lot more about the other linebackers than you do D.D. Lewis, but he's just as good as anybody plays that game. Been around Dallas for about 9 years now.
Give you an idea of Terry Metcalf's role. He is 5'10", 185-pounder, and he was trying to clear D.D. Lewis out of the way, 6'1" and 215. That's a tough assignment.
He's a great competitor. He'll do anything that you ask him to do. He really is that.
3rd and 6 from the 18, and now let's see Hart's big play. Gray is right. Harris left. And it'll be Metcalf, of course, on a big play. Is he something else as he runs across the 25-yard line?
Oh, look at this. Everybody's fighting. Herrera's in on the action now. He and Metcalf are shoving. Get out of town. What is this?
I think there's going to be a clip, however, against the Cardinals. The play unfolded too well.
Oh, good block by Conrad Dobler. Hate to see that happen to him. He really got out there and cleared it away. That Metcalf, he just keeps you on the edge of your seat, doesn't he?
We have 2 minutes and 41 seconds to go to the half. The Cardinals 17, the Cowboys 10, and they are really just warming up. Ball on the 9. Let's listen.
Offense, 66, flipping.
Well, it's Conrad Dobler, all right.
Well, let's take a look at old Conrad. He'd be the right guard pulling. Let's see what he does. Looked like to me he got out there and made good shape. There he is rolling there. I don't believe they must have called that on somebody else. Conrad didn't clip. He's been guilty of holding, but he didn't clip.
3rd and 15 from the 9. So Hart faced with another tough assignment. Uh-oh, a mix-up. Wayne Morris finally falling on the ball. But on 4th down, they put a lot of pressure on a very anxious punter. Wouldn't you say Terry Joyce looks anxious out there and
yes,
slow?
I would say that just exactly that. I have never been sold on him. He used to take a lot more time to kick the ball. They reduced his steps from 3 to 2, but it's still not quick enough to suit me.
Henderson is on the right side, and Barnes is on the left side. That would be 56-31. And, of course, his first punt was blocked by Waters. They're coming. There's a flag, and there will be a penalty, I'm sure, on a fair catch by Butch Johnson. Let's see.
Well, they came after that punt. Barnes almost got it, too.
Someone received a warning, evidently, but no flag. And the crowd at the far end of the stadium thought the warning was more than that, as Joyce just did get it away. Benny Barnes missed the ball and rolled in underneath Joyce's legs. So there's the 2-minute warning. The Cardinals 17, the Cowboys 10.
Now try and forget the 10th largest life insurance company in America, Lincoln National Life. We're easy to remember.
Hello, everybody. This is Lowell Thomas. Alaska, tough on people, tough on auto parts. So we took Motorcraft heavy-duty batteries, oil filters, and tune-up parts to Alaska, testing them in 50 GM, Chrysler, and Ford cars and trucks. After 6 months of Alaskan pipeline country, less than 1% of the parts couldn't take the punishment. No matter what you drive, wherever you drive, ask for Motorcraft auto parts from Ford. Tested tough in Alaska. So long.
Well, the cheerleaders cheering the Cardinal fans who are leading 17-10, and at the same time lifting the spirits of the Dallas Cowboy fans, because Dallas in good field position, 1st and 10 on the Cardinal 42-yard line. And of course, that was a very big clipping penalty against Conrad Dobler. Instead of a first down by Metcalf, they wound up having to punt out of the end zone, and Terry Joyce barely got it away.
Watch old Roger go to work. Ben, he's a quiet killer. He doesn't say a whole lot, but he's got some killer in him, buddy.
Well, we got 2 minutes to go to half. 1st and 10 on the Cardinal 42. Golden Richards right. Drew Pearson left. Billy Joe Dupree in a flex on the left side. And it's to Preston Pearson at the 30, and a sandwich applied by Mark Arneson and Tim Carney, the linebackers. That's good enough for a first down, and he picked up 13 quicker than you can say Alex Hawkins.
Or a dunk shot. You know, he's an old basketball player, and he used a little basketball pivot move right there.
1:44 to the half. 1st and 10 from the Cardinal 30. Staubach, a little lift to Pearson. He got away from Carney. Neal slowed him up, and he was finally taken down. He needed help from Lee Nelson.
Same kind of pivot, though. It's that pick and roll. I think that's what they call it in basketball. He just pivots around there. You know, Preston Pearson, I played with him in Baltimore when he first came up before he was traded to Pittsburgh, and we never really took him serious as a back. He was a safety man. Played a little bit just on the special teams. He really didn't play that much until he went to Pittsburgh.
And coming up at halftime, of course, Brent Musburger, Phyllis George, and Irv Cross. And they have an entertaining halftime show for you, and then we'll be back to see the second half of the Cowboys and the Cardinals. We have a time out on the field, 1 minute and 32 seconds to go. The Cardinals holding on to a 7-point lead, and Dallas now trying to shoot holes in it. Jay Saldy, Billy Joe Dupree, Preston Pearson, all of the other blue and silver. The front offensive line with Staubach talking to his head coach, Tom Landry. 18th year as Cowboy coach. He has had 12 straight winning seasons. 11 of 12 years he has guided Dallas into the playoffs. They won the Super Bowl number 6 back in 1972.
I told a Dallas writer, Bob St. John, years ago, he was doing a article about me, and he asked me how I felt about Landry. It was before he put that winning combination together, and I said, you never make it. Ain't no way you'll ever be a winning coach. See what I know about it? Nothing.
Yeah. Predictions are about worth that much.
I'm the guy that said Jim Brown would never make it big, too.
What's the comedy line where the comic says, but don't take me seriously, I predicted Zsa Zsa Gabor would be a nun. All right, 2nd and 3 from the Cowboy, moving to the Cardinal 23-yard line. Staubach under some heat and dumps it away, and they were going to eat him up. John Zook and Mike Dawson claiming that Staubach pulled the plug and just got rid of it.
And you know he did, too. Nobody in that area, and nobody in there. They had the blitz on that time, right up the middle. Tim Carney was blitzing right up the middle. I think you can see it, and he goes unblocked. I believe it's Carney, isn't it? All right, but you see nobody in that area, and I think it was intentionally ground the ball. But
Well,
Roger,
it's not called.
if they're not going to bring it to Roger's attention, he's not going to call their attention to it.
3rd down and 3 from the Cardinal 23. We have, as you see, 1 minute and 28 to the half. Drew Pearson wide right, Golden Richards left, Dupree the tight end on the right side. The backs are Jay Saldy and Preston Pearson. Saldy in there to block, a big tight end. Dawson ran around him, and the pass broken up, intended for Pearson. Guess who? Sure, Lee Nelson,
Yes,
the
sir.
unknown soldier.
Rising to the occasion, doing what they expected him to do, and doing it so capably, too. He's got the coverage. He has all day. The big rush there by Dawson, number 73, as you saw. You can't have a man covered any better than that. Plenty of room.
The rush is so strong by the Cardinals that Dallas brought in tight end Jay Saldy to try to help Staubach out, and Dawson went right by Saldy but couldn't quite get a shot at Staubach.
And really that has been the weakness of the Cardinals. They've only had 3 quarterback sacks coming into today's game this season.
Herrera with the ball spotted on the 30, so a 40-yard field goal attempt is good, and the Cowboys come scrambling back. We have 1 minute and 19 seconds to go to the half. The Cardinals lead cut to 4. St. Louis 17, Dallas 13. And the crowd applauding both sides. We are seeing a fabulous half of a great football game.
Well, the Cardinals are the #1 passing team in the NFC, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if Jim Hart doesn't come out and just start humming it again.
I'll tell you one thing, when you pass against Dallas, the opposing quarterbacks up to today have passed for an efficiency of only 38%. Dallas is the toughest in the NFL. They have intercepted 8. They are tied with Baltimore and Kansas City to be #1 in the NFL. So every time Hart puts that ball in the air, it's a crapshoot, but he's getting away with it.
It's the #3 defensive team in the NFC. Along with all that information, there's 11 sacks. They have really been getting after the quarterbacks on the other teams.
Efren Herrera, who doesn't mind mixing it up at all, will tee it up on the 35. There's the scoring drive. 5 plays, 19 yards, a penalty hurting them, and then they finally get the field goal from Herrera. So it is 17-13 Cardinals, a minute 19 to go to the half, and Herrera kicking to Terry Metcalf, if he goes that deep. But he's going to keep it on the ground. Wayne Morris over, but he lets Metcalf pick it up. He's to the 25, to the 30, and to the 32-yard line. Jay Saldy is an unknown soldier out there, big number 87 for Dallas. But he is involved in all kinds of plays, including blocking for Staubach, and just then he was the one who tripped up Metcalf.
Yeah, he and Barnes are very good on the special teams. Both of them do a good job. Excellent job.
There is Jay Saldy, and it's time to salute some people who don't get too much press. Second-year man out of South Carolina. He was the only rookie free agent to stick with Dallas from training camp, and he's doing a fine job. Morris and Metcalf are behind Hart. 1st and 10 from the 30. And Hart, under pressure from Randy White, got away and completes it to his big man, number 88, J.V. Kane at midfield.
J.V. That's a good job by Jim Hart getting away from that Dallas rush this time. You'll see a good
54.
rush by Randy White here. Randy be coming into the picture. Number 54, you see him right there. Hart kind of ducking and expecting to be hit, and when he wasn't, he just got up and threaded a needle. Right in the hands to J.V. Kane. J.V. Kane is a tight end that can go deep on you. Look at the rush there by White, though. Banks just barely bumped him off there. Deerdorf doing his usual good job on Too Tall Jones. He does get a lick here, though. Yes, sir.
All the boys. Randy Hughes hit him first on the side. Aaron Kyle going on top of him. Timeout. We should point out, J.V. Kane caught 5 touchdown passes last year, tying Mel Gray. So he's a tight end who can get him and put up 6.
He's caught 2 touchdown passes this year, both of them leaping one-handed grabs that were a thing of beauty. Yes, sir.
That's Terry Joyce. Very, very early in the game. Terry had to get a punt away, and it was blocked by Charlie Waters. The next time he was asked to punt, Tom Henderson apparently stood behind the Dallas line hollering and pointing, "I'm coming, I'm coming." And Dallas evidently tried to intimidate him, but Terry was able to get them away. But even so, he is not that loose that he's just going to stand on the sidelines and watch. He's got to do something while he waits.
You got it, Vin.
And you got Terry Metcalf.
Yes, sir. I love to watch him play.
What do you call him, the Tooth Fairy?
The Tooth Fairy. I haven't seen it. You ever seen anybody catch the Tooth Fairy? They've been doing it for years, getting by with it. They always think this guy's going to go down with injuries, but so far he's been fairly durable.
And a nice little earring in his left ear.
He didn't explain that one to me, so I didn't ask.
1st and 10 from midfield, a minute and 6 to go. It's 17-13 Cardinals. The backs stay in to block, and hard hit by Harvey Martin, gets away to pass and throws it away. Harvey Martin and Bill Gregory appeared to have him for a sack, and he got away.
How in the world did he get out of that trap? Gracious, look at old Cliff Harris. Now, buddy, he'll put something on you that soap and water won't wash off. He will hit you. If you move, he'll hit you.
You see Hart just shaking his head there. Watch the rush again.
He said, I dodged a bullet here. Big rush there. Let's look at Gregory. Look, Martin's always around there. Yes, sir. Who is that? One of the backs back there trying to pick him up. No, that was Finney. Roger Finney, number 60.
Yeah, he just drove Finney back into the backfield.
Good job there by Jim Hart. Good place to put it, too. Throw it to the green grass.
All right, 2nd and 10 from midfield. We have 59 seconds to the half. 17-13 Cardinals. Hart, not at all conservative. A little swing to Wayne Morris, and he took his eye off the ball for a very good reason. The reason is named Thomas Henderson, 6'2", 220.
Two interceptions. 2 interceptions last week. Number 1 interceptor in NFC. He's had 3 of the year. One of them for about a 72-yard touchdown last week, as I recall. Isn't that right?
79, which was the longest since Mel Renfro ran 90 way back in 1965.
Oh, Mel's done a great job. What a great career he's had there for Dallas. Probably be his last year. Probably be Jackie Smith's last year.
It was a little sad as Mel Gray beat Mel Renfro for that touchdown pass in the corner.
Very true.
It happens to all of them. 3rd and 10 from the 50. The backs start to flare. Hart got away from one arm, and a beefy shot. He got it in there to Harris. Great catch by Ike Harris. There's a penalty on, and somebody's hand, a big taped hand, almost knocked Jim Hart's head off.
Harvey Martin. I believe you'll find that hand belongs to Harvey Martin. Look at, he looks a little put out. Oh, Harvey, brother, what a player he is. Too mean. Too mean.
There he is.
He plays every play for you, too, brother. He doesn't rest at all. You watch him now. Watch old number 79 at the bottom of your screen there. That's Roger Finney doing a job on him, or trying to. See him coming across his back with that right arm? Full of tape. That Hart is accurate, though, isn't he?
That was a great reception by Harris, and Mel Renfro hit him with all of his 14 years' experience.
There's old Mel. Taking a good look in there at Randy White. What an athlete he's going to be. You know, his career parallels that of Bob Lilly pretty closely. The first 2 years he was moved around. They tried to play him at linebacker, inside and outside. They did the same thing to Bob Lilly when he was a rookie, but they used him as a defensive end. He didn't really come into his own until they moved him to defensive tackle. Now they've moved him, Randy White, to the defensive tackle, and he's coming on.
They put a nickname on Randy White. There's Harvey Martin. Martin, who was a teammate of Dwight White of Pittsburgh in college at East Texas State. They call him the Smiling Assassin down there. He has a radio show called The Beautiful Harvey Martin Show, starring the hard-hearted headhunter.
Would you?
Randy White also has a nickname. They call him the Manster, half man, half monster.
He's a phenom, brother. He's going to get better and better and better. Those are tough shoes, though, when you start trying to play for Bob Lilly. Dan Deerdorf told me that the toughest man he ever had to block was Bob Lilly. And I said, when in the world did you do that? He said, I was a guard early, and I had to block him in the first 2 games that he started for the Cardinals. He said it was a nightmare.
What a way to start your career.
And often finish it.
1st and 10 with 48 seconds to go in the half on the Dallas 35-yard line. The backs release. Harvey Martin got him, but he got away. Into the end zone. There's nobody there. Harvey Martin is going to win a belt in just missing today.
Yes, sir. Finney's doing a good job on him, as good as you're going to do. Looked like Jim might have hurt his hand.
He is twisting and turning and throwing off balance. And, of course, there's always a possibility of being hit. And he was spun just before throwing and evidently hurt that throwing hand, the fingers on the right hand.
What a young face he has, though. He doesn't look like he's going to shave till next Thursday.
You're not talking about Harvey Martin?
No, I'm talking about Jim Hart.
Oh, of course.
Peaches.
There's the stat as Jim Hart brings him up. 2nd and 10 from the 35-yard line at Dallas. 42 seconds to go to the half. Hart is buried by Harvey Martin. And that's the first time Martin was able to get a good lick in, and I mean it was a lick.
You can't dodge him all day long. Sooner or later, Harvey is going to get you. And he did that time, as you see Jim Hart kneeling right there. And
Wayne Morris and Dan Deerdorf trying to help the quarterback to get up. And the Cardinal bench coming out now to help us. Metcalf comes over. So Harvey kept missing, and finally got him.
Same thing Matt Dillon says, you can't keep dodging bullets forever. Look at this, though. There he uses that. Oh, take that. Oh, brother. Just completely dominated him that time. Roger just wearing down. Roger Finney just got run down that time.
It looked like Harvey's left arm found its way just underneath the left ear of Jim Hart.
That brings on an interesting situation if Jim Hart cannot return to the game. Their backup quarterback, and Bill Donkers, I guess they'd use, wouldn't they, then?
Yeah, probably. Pisarkowicz was not even in uniform earlier. Donkers would be the backup quarterback, and right now you see him listening to his coach, Don Coryell. Hart, probably trying to cushion the fall, also complicated matters by falling heavily on his right arm.
Oh, I'm glad to see that. Looks like he's going to be all right. He's just shaking up there. I certainly hope so. I love to see the guy play.
There's 38 seconds to the half. It's a pretty safe bet that he's not going to play at least until the third quarter. He got a lick.
Take it off there, Jim. I sure hope he's all right.
5 for 18, 126 yards, and 1 touchdown. But here is the Harvey Martin show.
Yes, sir. Just total domination of Roger Finney this time. A left-hand slap there, and then just completely ran over him. Yeah, I guess he did pull his face mask a little bit, but too much power there. Supposed to be illegal, but, well, they missed some of them. I believe this is the first action Donkers has seen this year, isn't it?
He's coming in now. He was in 1 game last year, and so Bill Donkers really having a tough assignment with 38 seconds to go. No doubt. Oh, he's going to put it up. No, he goes down. Harvey Martin lands on top of him with Roger Finney.
Oh, you got to feel sorry for a kid on his first play of the year just falling down like that. Gracious me. Martin just putting on a devastating rush to the outside. What he's doing to Finney right now isn't even worth talking about. He just lost his footing altogether.
Donkers was going down on his own, and Jim Hart taking a little sip and trying to revive his spirits. And evidently, although he took a serious shake-up type, not a serious injury, he looks like the type who will be able to come back in the third quarter. So Donkers, 1 play, and he hit the rug. And now Terry Joyce, with 17 seconds, will be punting from his 40 to Butch Johnson, standing all alone on the Dallas 10. And the score, the Cardinals 17, the Cowboys 13. We only have, as you see, a couple of seconds to go. We might not even have a kick. With 2 seconds left, there's a delay of game penalty against the Cardinals. They are not the least bit fazed by it.
Offense.
Well, they, I think, will just kill it again. Joyce going back. 2 seconds to go to the half. It has been a great half. 17-13 Cardinals.
Ben, do you think he's going to kick it, or do you think he just run around there with it?
If I were he, I would walk back about 3 steps and fall down.
You got it.
Thank you very much. There ain't no way he's going to kick the ball, but Tom Henderson would love it. That's the end of the first half with the score. The Cardinals 17, the Cowboys 13.
Cicely Tyson for Color Track by RCA.
My rose is red, my skin is dark brown, and my dress is bright orange. If these colors don't look right to you, you should know about Color Track from RCA. Getting the color right is what Color Track is all about. It actually adjusts the colors and locks them on track.
Before you see the color track system grabs it, aligns it, defines it, sharpens it, tones it, and locks the color on track.
RCA is making television better and better.
Ford means business in big trucks. And now Ford announces the CL 9000, its new lightweight cabover. Compare the driver comfort of its spacious cab with optional cab air ride. Compare the efficiency of its lightweight, choice of engines, and aerodynamic design. Compare features like plug-in gauges designed to help minimize downtime. Ford CL 9000. Compare it with any line hauler on the road today. Ford means business in big trucks.
Pabst Blue Ribbon knows that to bring a 5,000-pound African elephant back to the safety of his protected herd is a challenge that's just not for everyone. But we do challenge you to discover a better tasting beer. Taste and compare Pabst with any other premium beer. You'll taste the difference Blue Ribbon quality makes. Pabst, since 1844, the quality has always come through.
This week, Rhoda meets her new boss.
You gotta be the rudest person I ever met.
You never met my wife.
I would be afraid to meet the woman who married you.
I would too. She died 10 years ago.
And two girls face naked truth in advertising in the premiere of On Our Own. New comedy right after Rhoda. Sunday Funny starting at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
Next Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, CBS Sports Spectacular presents live coverage of the Jockey Club Gold Cup, the third leg of the Fall Triple Crown. Highlights of the highly acclaimed Junichi Cup with three-time Olympic gold medalist Nadia Comaneci of Romania competing. And the world's strongest men competition featuring the wrist roll. That's next Saturday at 4:30.
Miami and Baltimore, both unbeaten when they got out of bed and got dressed today. 73 points later, only the Baltimore Colts are unbeaten. Their first offensive play, Lydell Mitchell explodes. On the day, he carried 16 times for 137 yards. This put the Colts up by 7. Now it is Bob Greasy handing to Benny Malone, who goes 52 yards for a Miami touchdown. This put the Dolphins ahead 14-7, and Malone rushed for 145 yards. Now it is the moment when Greasy wants to go to Duriel Harris on the 1-yard line. Did he fumble the ball or was he down? The Colts screamed bloody murder that this was a touchback and should come out on the 20. But they gave it to Miami and they scored a touchdown. Then they came back with Benny Malone again. This time, 61 yards as he scores 2 touchdowns, gains a phenomenal 145 yards. Miami led at 28-10. Baltimore then scored 35 unanswered points. Jones goes to Chester. This is a 27-yarder. Jones, 19 of 31, 210 yards, and 4 touchdown passes, including this one to McCauley, 23 yards, 45-28. The final score, Baltimore still unbeaten. Now the rest of the scores around the National Football League. Of course, the big game, St. Louis leading the Cowboys at the half, the contest you're watching. Kansas City and Denver. Livingston, the Chiefs quarterback, out with a separated shoulder. The Broncos rolling toward that showdown with Oakland next Sunday. Washington and Tampa Bay, the Redskins shutting out the Bucs in the third quarter. Atlanta and San Francisco. The Falcons have had 2 touchdowns called back in that game already. San Diego wins. They shut out New Orleans and Archie Manning 14-0. Pittsburgh, Houston. Big upset and a big story. Terry Bradshaw fractured his left wrist in that game. Dottie Pastorini of Houston may have torn up an ankle. Franco Harris, the Steeler quarterback, went out with a pinched nerve. Oilers win it 27-10. And again, the final score, Baltimore beats Miami 45-28. Cincinnati had trouble early, then came back, scored the last 17 points to beat the Pack 17-7. Other final in the NFC Central, the Vikes now lead it as they beat Detroit 14-7. New England's first shutout in 3 years. They racked the Seahawks 31-0. Oakland and Cleveland 26-10, and the Raiders win for the 17th straight time. Jets upset Buffalo despite 122 by O.J. Simpson. Philadelphia stops the Giants 28-10 the final in that game. And Phyllis George, we've got a baseball game coming up tonight, Kansas City and the New York Yankees.
This is going to be the biggest war of all times in the American League. The weather's beautiful. It is in Kansas City, split off starting for the Royals, and for the Yankees is Guidry. Who do you like, Jimmy?
You.
No, that's not what you're supposed to say, James. Who do you like tonight for the baseball
Kansas
game?
City comes up last. That gives them the edge. That's the only thing.
And being at home helps.
That's it. That's why they get the bat last, because they are at home.
That's right. And, you know, you're something else. And I'm going to ask you something about the World Series. Who do you like? Who's the favorite? Let's make the decision right now.
Okay. Regardless of who wins it between Kansas City and the Yankees, the Dodgers will be the favorite. 2 good reasons. They have 3 or 4 players who hit over 300, plus the fact that they hit 30 or more home runs by each one, plus the fact that their pitchers have at least 24 hours more rest than either Kansas City or the Yankees. So we have to make the Dodgers a slight favorite.
Good enough.
Let's take it away from him, Irv, and get to the highlights. As the NFL Today continues on CBS after these messages from your local stations.
Archie and Edith bury a cousin and uncover a family secret. Tonight at 9, 8 Central and Mountain on CBS.
For the 40th time in his fabulous career, O.J. Simpson today rushed for better than 100 yards. But the Bills still came up a loser. It's the first time this season that the Juice has turned it loose as he rolls outside for 39 yards in the early going with the score tied against the New York Jets. Bills get on the board. Ferguson to Pacone, formerly of the Jets in the corner after the extra point, 7-0. Back came Richard Todd. He's maturing slowly for Walt Michaels, coming along nicely. Here is Harper. What a pickup he has been as he gets his way to the 5-yard line of the Bills. Now it'll be Todd going to Jerome Barkham for the touchdown. This put the Jets in command 17-7, and the Bills were forced to come off the deck. Ferguson rolling, wants Chandler his favorite target, made it 17-14. They then tied it. With a couple of minutes to go, the Bills fumbled. And for the 13th straight time since he became coach, Jim Ringo came up a loser for Buffalo as Clark Gaines ran it in. 24-19, Jets a winner.
Brent, the Minnesota Vikings took a commanding lead in the National Football Conference Central Division today by defeating the Detroit Lions 14-7 out of Minnesota. Of course, Van Tarkenton had a pretty good day, passing for 267 yards and 2 touchdown passes. And here's one of his early throws in the ball game down to Ahmed Rashad down to the 13-yard line. Sets up a pretty nice sequence of plays, which is followed up by this one, a pass to Sammy White. Remember him, the great wide receiver, was Rookie of the Year last year. Minnesota takes an early 7-0 lead. Targeting this time elects to go to some razzle-dazzle, throwing the ball outside to Ahmed Rashad, who's pinned up here on the sideline. He hands the ball off to Sammy White, and Sammy legs it the rest of the way in for another Minnesota score, and they led 14-0. Of course, that Viking defense is pretty tough, and Greg Landry tried to find some kind of way to crack it, and he does here as Luther Blue goes over on a pretty tough run here and goes in, but it wasn't enough as Minnesota won 14-7.
And Irv Tarkenton, 21 of 31 for 267 yards. Tell Jimmy the Greek about the Tark stats today, will you? Dallas and St. Louis, as Ben Scully has told you, it has been an excellent football game. Jimmy Bakken with a 32-yard field goal. Cardinals ahead of the Cowboys, 3-0. Watch this block punt. Here comes Waters. It's going to be recovered by the Cowboys on the 13-yard line, and that set up a Herrera field goal. A 29-yarder coming up, and it managed to tie the score at Dallas 3 and St. Louis 3, and Herrera is dead on, isn't he? I guess the only big one I can ever remember missing was in that game against Minnesota that opened the season. Now it's Metcalf. Here he comes. Back in the starting lineup for the Cardinals. He explodes 62 yards for the touchdown, and after the Bakken extra point, it was 10-3, and Phyllis George was looking downcast. But then back came Tony Dorsett. Oh, that's a $100 fine for doing that. Now it's Tony Dorsett, 77 yards. Sweet run, isn't it? He just busts loose there and turns it on. Notice that high step when they get a hand on him. Shades of Gale Sayers, tied at 10 after Herrera's extra point. Now it is Hart who is shaken up rudely. What a game 79 Harvey Martin has had. Mel Gray caught it 60 yards, and it put him up. And at halftime, 17-13 is the score. And the NFL Today will continue on CBS in just a moment.
Another all-nighter for the old workaholic, huh?
Somebody's got to get the work out.
Many people drive themselves too hard, and it's putting the cost of health care under a lot of stress. Blue Cross and Blue Shield plans have programs to hold costs down, but everybody needs to help.
I hear you're working on a transfer.
Huh?
Yeah, to that big office in the sky.
When you overtax yourself, we all pay for it.
All of us helping each other.
A guy I know tells me this new Sunbeam adjustable groomer razor is the greatest shaver ever made. Oh, I say, so what? I'm a blade man. He says, try it and you won't be. He's right.
Here's how Sunbeam's new groomer razor works. 12 stainless steel blades cut at 8,000 strokes a minute through the thinnest shaving heads you can get. Stands whiskers up and shears them off, at or below the skin line.
You a blade guy? Try this. It may be the last time you use a blade.
The Dallas Cowboys are a homegrown football team, and a team that plays offense like nobody else. Hi, I'm Harvey Martin, and I was born and raised in Dallas, and I'm very pleased to have this chance to show you my home. Now, in a way, Dallas came out of nowhere. No harbors, no railroads, no rivers, nothing to make it great except the people. People who saw a city that looks like tomorrow. People who love football and the Texas State Fair, summer musicals, and 3-alarm chili. You know, we get kidded about being Texans and claiming to have the biggest everything, but there are people in Dallas with the biggest hearts anywhere. They're the volunteers of our United Way. People like you and me, working with the Red Cross, the YMCA, Services for the Aging, and many other agencies funded by our United Way. They take pride in our team, our city, and our United Way. They're beautiful people, and for all of them, we'd like to say thanks to you. It works for all of us, the United Way.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Football League. Well, every now and then you get all the ingredients. You get two good ball clubs, you get perfect weather, a sellout crowd, some very high, potent offensive performers, and they are all working today, much to the delight of a sellout crowd here in St. Louis. Not a cloud in the sky. And it's Dallas and the Cardinals, and Hawk, you couldn't ask for a better first half.
Benny, you got it right on the head, but this is one of the finest football games you're ever going to see. But do you think what's going on in the minds of Roger Finney at halftime, you suppose?
I was just going to ask you that. Probably the biggest single question posed to the Cardinals, what do you do about Harvey Martin?
Well, you can try hobbling him or put him in a cage, and if none of those work, you can have him arrested.
Or maybe shoot him with a tranquilizer.
Something, brother. He is playing in an uncontrollable rage in that latter part of that second quarter.
In fact, on that last play, when Hart went down under the charge by Harvey Martin, he was literally a wild man. It looked like he got away with a strong head slap. Yeah. It looked like he got away with some face mask grabbing. And Hart didn't get away.
No, Hart. I hope to see him come back out in the second half. We got too good a game. I don't want to see anybody run.
We can take a look at some numbers as far as halftime, and in case you weren't with us, as you read those numbers, we'll fill you in. First of all, Jim Bakken kicked a 32-yard field goal. The big play was a 42-yard pass penalty to set it up. However, the Cowboys came back a 29-yard field goal from Efren Herrera. Then Terry Metcalf in the first quarter ran 62 yards for a touchdown. Bakken converted. But in the second quarter, Anthony Dorsett ran 77 yards for a touchdown. Herrera converted. Then a 60-yard pass play from Jim Hart to Mel Gray, who caught it in front of Mel Renfro for the touchdown. And finally, in the second quarter, Efren Herrera kicked a 40-yard field goal. So you're up to date on the scoring plays. The Cardinals leading the Cowboys 17-13 at halftime. Hawk, do you read anything particular in the stats?
You know, I haven't even had a chance to look at the stats. I've been so excited about the game. We've had a little bit of everything. Block punts, long touchdown runs, long touchdown passes, plenty of penalties, sacks and near sacks.
There is the question mark at the start of the second half. Is Jim Hart...
Listen, let's go.
Well, the great coach Tom Landry, 53 years old, the sixth winningest coach in history, as he started this year with 137 wins, and he's already won 3 to get to 140. Staubach there, throwing on the sidelines with Tony Hill catching so that Roger doesn't stick a finger in it. And in a moment, We'll be getting underway. Jim Bakken will tee it up on the 35-yard line. Butch Johnson, number 86, Larry Brinson, number 36, go deep for the Dallas Cowboys. That's Butch Johnson, the second cousin of Senator Edward Brooks of the state of Massachusetts. So there's a lot of running in that family, one for political office and the other for yardage.
Oh, buddy.
All right, Bakken says he's ready. 17-13 in favor of the Cardinals. And here we go, the start of the third quarter. Almost a gyroscope that's out of whack, and it goes out of bounds. And so Bakken will have to kick it again. Jim Bakken is very much a part of the history of the St. Louis Cardinals. And as number 25 goes back to take it up, he is the all-time St. Louis scorer. He has led in points 14 straight years. He was all NFL, all NFC 2 years in a row. 208 straight games. A magnificent player out of Wisconsin, 4 times in the Pro Bowl, 16 years of experience.
What did he finish with field goal percentage last year? Something like 79% or something like that? He's
Just
always
about
up in
exactly
there.
it.
I don't think he missed but 3 field goals inside the 40 last year. I believe that's right.
Among other things, he holds a National Football League record. He kicked 7 field goals in one game. He went 7 for 9. What we're saying is he could be a factor. All right, Bakken gets it up in the air and down the middle. It's time to Butch Johnson on the 10. And he gives to Billy Joe Dupree at the 20 on a reverse. And Dupree is going to be driven out of bounds by Steve Jones at the 45-yard line. Billy Joe Dupree, who has carried 7 end-arounds last year, so he's accustomed to those handoffs, and he made the most of it.
You could tell he isn't Anthony Dorsett, though. Look at those little short, those big old long legs taking those little short strides. He hasn't got the greatest speed in the world, but it was very effective. We just had a little bit of everything.
So 1st and 10 for the Cowboys. The ball on the Cowboy 43-yard line. Staubach has Butch Johnson sitting this one down. Drew Pearson breaking to the left. That's Robert Newhouse. And Newhouse tripped just as Leo Nelson was coming up off a block by Donovan. And Nelson knocked him out. That's a tough play because it was a good block by Pat Donovan, but he literally knocked Nelson right into the ball carrier.
Yeah, they forced that outside that time. Bob Bell got a lot of penetration that time, making it go outside.
So they picked up 6. Atlanta has finally gotten on the scoreboard to break that shutout, and it is Atlanta 7, San Francisco nothing.
Haven't they been a surprise team this year?
Right from the opening gun when they knocked off Los Angeles. 2nd and 4 from the 49. Newhouse and Preston Pearson. Preston in motion to the right. And as a flip back to Newhouse, he has Donovan out in front of him, and he's still on his feet as he gets across the 35-yard line, and the one man to get him was Charlie Davis.
Gracious me, the speed of Pat Donovan. 3rd-year player, moved in that right tackle position due to an injury to the regular tackle for the Cowboys. Look at him get out there and turn it upfield. Got the good speed. Newhouse. We got old Drew Pearson out there blocking a little bit. Notice he did not hit below the legs or below the waist. That would be constituted as clipping. Bobby Newhouse rolling down that right sideline. Who's that putting a hit on him over there? Charlie Davis.
Cowboys on the move. 1st and 10 on the Cardinal 35-yard line. Play action fake to Pearson. Pressure over the middle to Butch Johnson, and it's complete. And it was Lee Nelson who had him by the jersey, number 38. And finally he went down. But Butch Johnson, 2nd-year man out of the University of California of Riverside, made the catch.
And the blitz was on the Cardinals to generate some kind of pass rush. If you see the middle linebacker, Tim Carney, blitzing on that time. You also had Steve Niels in there. Perfect poise by Roger Staubach. Nice throw to Butch Johnson.
1st and 10, just inside the 25. They'll mark it on the Cardinal 24-yard line. So the Cowboys on the move. Pearson, deep man out of the eye. And Pearson, 2nd man through, and he is hit and buried. The first man was Tim Carney, the middle linebacker, who came up to get him, number 56.
Robert Newhouse, number 44. The little guy. Look at that low center of gravity. Good block there. Atta boy. Well, he didn't win the battle, but he staved it off. He broke even on it.
2nd and 9 from the 23. Mark Arneson was trying to fight Newhouse off on that block. So 2nd and 9. Drew Pearson wide left. Preston Pearson the deep back out of the eye. Pitch back to Preston Pearson. And he fights his way down to the 15-yard line. He's probably got 1.5 yards to go for a first down. Arneson and Davis making the tackle.
Once again, the right side of the Dallas line. Rafferty and Donovan making good blocks there, and Preston Pearson just following his blocking so well.
The story of Preston Pearson, 3 years with Baltimore, 5 years with Pittsburgh, and the miracle of Dallas, how they ever got him. And now leading Dallas in rushing yardage and receiving yardage, coming off 76 knee surgery. Remarkable story.
And he's playing better football now than he ever has in his life, I believe.
Walt Patelski taking over from Mike Dawson up front now. 3rd and 2 from the 16. Play action fake to Newhouse and a flip to Preston Pearson. Mike Sensabaugh tackles him, and the ball is loose and picked up by Mark Arneson, and Cardinals have recovered on the 15-yard line.
Would you believe?
Mark Arneson.
There's a man that never fumbles. Preston Pearson, I don't recall the last fumble I saw him make. Just turned it loose right that time, and a big break for the Cardinals. Pearson runs the slant in pattern that time. He fakes the ball to Newhouse. Clears that area, and Preston just, you see him shake it loose right there.
You usually think of Firestone only on the road. But when you take a day to relax, you'll find Firestone stays right with you to share in the fun. Like children's balloons made of Firestone.
To the 30-yard line. He's out in the open and pulled down at the 45-yard line by Aaron Kyle.
You can look for Tom Banks to make a block, the all-pro center of the Cardinals. It's got to happen because that hole sprung right in the middle there. Sid from the end zone. He blocks that. Bob Young comes and turns his man in, the middle linebacker, Bob Brunig. The hole is there. Cliff Harris missed the tackle, as did D.D. Lewis. Watch Kyle, though. Closes that ground in a hurry. He said, we've seen that before.
So Terry Metcalf throwing the block. Wayne Morris carries it to the 46. 1st and 10 Cardinals. And it's Wayne Morris again, and he gets out to midfield and goes over 1 yard with Cliff Harris on top of him.
And the handkerchief goes down. They got a penalty flag down.
And it's against the Cardinals, a demoralizing blow for them for the moment at least. The Cardinals had their backs against the walls. There you see the defensive squad, Kenny Reeves and Mark Arneson, Severson, Sensabaugh, and Carney, all going over their assignments.
Offense, number 88, holding. First down.
J.V. Kane was guilty of holding. Jim Hart is well, sound, and back out there at the wheel. The ball on the Cardinal 36-yard line, 1st and 20. The Cardinals leading 17-13, 9:59 to go in the 3rd quarter. Mel Gray wide right, Ike Harris wide left, Kane the tight end on the right side. That's Wayne Morris in motion. Picked up by Waters. Here comes Metcalf. He passes broken up by Waters. So Charlie Waters just picked up the man in motion, and he was there to block the pass.
Yes, sir. Worked once, but not again. Oh, Charlie Waters is a fine safety man. He comes up here. He's already committed himself now, so he's got to go on through with the thing. Now he plays a little volleyball with it. He had missed his assignment. That was his coverage over there, Wayne Morris, but he decided once he'd made the mistake to go ahead and continue on with it. That's the thing to do.
Jim Hart, 2nd and 20 from his own 36, but of course that's a lot better than where they were. A completed pass to Pearson, who fumbled, and it was recovered by Mark Arneson, and now they're out to their own 36-yard line, albeit 2nd and 20. Gray wide right, picked up by Benny Barnes. Morrison Metcalf, back of Hart. Hart going high and deep, intended for Gray, and it's short. In fact, the closest man to it was Benny Barnes, who peeled off Gray and came back to try and intercept.
Jim Hart looked very awkward throwing that ball that time, didn't he? You suppose he's still suffering from the effects of that being sacked back in the second quarter?
I'm just wondering, the combination, he had sore fingers on his throwing hand earlier, went down heavily under Harvey Martin, appeared to take a little bit of a lick on the right side of the neck and just underneath the right ear, and felt heavily on his arm, so we'll have to keep an eye on him, Hawk. 3rd and 20 from the 36. Gray wide right, Harris wide left, Kane on the right side, and it's still Wayne Morris and Terry Metcalf. Big Jones and Randy White putting pressure, and the pass is thrown behind Metcalf because Randy White was coming up the middle, number 54, ready to eat him up. The Dallas rush would appear to be taking its toll the last few minutes of the second quarter and early here in the third.
Well, you know, that halftime break, you give Tom Landry and his staff a little time to make their adjustments at halftime and all that, and that doesn't come as any great surprise to me that Dallas would stiffen like this in the third quarter.
So Terry Joyce will be punting from his 25, and here come the Blues, but they keep him out. However, it's not that good a punt. It'll hit on the 35, and it takes a Cowboy bounce. Look at that thing. Stops on the 10-yard line of Dallas.
Now, that's something you should never do, is let that ball hit. So many times you see that ball should be fielded on punts. He got about, what, 20 more yards out of letting it bounce?
It turns out to be a 46-yard punt by Terry Joyce, thanks to those bunts. Stone's able to be down there to spot it. And so the Cowboys, 1 minute ago it seemed, they were down there 1st and 10 on the Cardinal 14. Meanwhile, Billy Donkers, number 10, who had one play in the first half, is warming up, and you're wondering if Jim Hart is still pretty groggy.
Yeah, they're going to have to be some adjustments made if Donkers does go in, because I don't think we've mentioned it, but he does have, Donkers, the backup quarterback to Jim Hart, does have a severe, I would say, speech impediment.
Yes, in fact, I remember Alex doing a game here where Donkers came in to call the play, and we explained the problem and how he overcame the problem. And sure enough, on his first and only play, it was a delay of game, too much time to call off the play. So that's another pressure on the kid. Meanwhile, the question is, can Jim Hart survive and come back? The Cardinals, after all, are still leading 17-13. We have 9:34 to go in the third quarter. The ball is on the Dallas 10-yard line. So Staubach has to move him 90 yards now. Golden Richards left, Drew Pearson right, Preston Pearson deep man out of the eye. And here comes Preston. Arneson can't hold him. Sensabaugh can't get him, and Niels runs him out of bounds.
That's been the Cardinals' problem, those poor tackling all season long. They've improved their defense over last year, but they play well at the point of attack, but they just don't. They get plenty of people around the ball carrier, but don't wrap him up.
2nd down and 1, and there's a footnote on Roger Staubach. You could go for quite a while on Roger Staubach. He came into this game first in the league with 33 first downs through the air. Now it's 2nd and 1 from the 19. Second man, Preston Pearson. And he's hit by Kenny Reeves and Mark Arneson and dropped as he crossed the 25-yard line. Preston Pearson at Illinois, 11-year man. He had knee surgery in '76. A great all-around athlete. He was all Big Ten in basketball.
One of the nicest people you want to meet, too. The way he's handled himself down there with all the publicity that Tony Dorsett had received since he was drafted #1, and Preston just hanging right in there and hanging on to his job.
He's 32 years old. He's being challenged by 23-year-old Dorsett, 25-year-old Dennison, so he's got his job worked out. 1st and 10 from the 26. Butch Johnson in a slot right. And Staubach on a deep fade, gets away from Dawson, gets away from Carney, got away from Davis, and is finally caught before he could get to the 40 by Mark Arneson. But it was a litany sea of frustration as we rolled off the names as he was able to escape.
Yes, but the added dimension of being able to run the ball like a Roger Staubach can do, rather than maybe a 10 or 12-yard loss, which you would have had right there, his mobility and his speed right there and running ability, running out of the arms of would-be tacklers, and picks up a first down. Look at that straight arm. Learned that in the Navy. Let's see what it looks like from where Roger's seeing it. Oh, he can see it too. Big strong rush there by Mike Dawson. Carney in on pursuit too.
1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Staubach to Robert Newhouse, who hesitates, runs around Dawson, gets across midfield, and is dragged down at the 45-yard line. Arneson pulled him down, and Dawson, who was furious that he had escaped him, and Mike, big number 73, finally chased him and got a little of him from behind.
Nice blocking by Pat Donovan and Tom Rafferty here. Let's watch it. Good job there. Look at the blocks all over there. Golden Richards putting a block on there, too. See, once again, the faulty tackling of the Cardinals. Newhouse looked like he might come up lame. You know, there are a lot of holes in that field out there, and I think he might have hit one right there.
It is a very difficult rug in which to run, but the Cowboys are doing it. 1st and 10 on the Cardinal 45-yard line. Play action fake to Preston Pearson. Staubach to his big tight end, Billy Joe Dupree, and Mike Arneson just cuts the legs out from underneath him. Billy Joe, that's a lot of man, 6'4", 226, out of Michigan State.
He's one of your better tight ends as a receiver against the zone coverages. He doesn't have a lot of moves, and he doesn't have a lot of speed, but he knows where to find those open areas when he's playing a team that's zone-oriented. That guy makes me sick right there, Mike Ditka. Have you seen how good he looks?
Oh, yeah.
Great day. He just looks great. He's older than I am, I believe.
White shirt, arms folded, the great Mike Ditka taking it all in. 2nd and 7 from the Cardinal 42. Drew Pearson in motion left. Staubach throwing to Pearson. It's complete, and he's knocked out of bounds by Lee Nelson. He got inside the 35 to the 33-yard line. That'll be enough for a first down. There is Tom Banks, who looks like he stepped out of the Wizard of Oz. He would play the Lion, talking to Dan Deerdorf. Just to Deerdorf's left, the familiar figure of Conrad Dobley.
Looks like Waylon and Willie and the boys, the Outlaws.
And that's Jimmy Otis wearing the windbreaker. One offensive back there with the lineman. All right, it's 1st and 10 from the Cardinal 33-yard line. Staubach on a quick one to the right side to Drew Pearson, and Lee Nelson knocks him out of there. And Randy White comes over to make sure Lee Nelson doesn't try to rough his man up again. And Lee says, excuse me, I'll leave.
They have had a lot of would-be fights just about develop out there today, almost every play. It's a highly emotional game between these two teams. Just a little old 5-yard turnaround, and it's a timing pattern. Ball will be there when he plants that foot to go. Roger timed it perfectly.
And there's Randy White trying to save Pearson from taking too serious a fall, and then he'll have a reminder about it.
Ah, don't you love to see young people have a good time?
Let's take our minds off the violence. Second and 4 from the Cardinal 27-yard line. Pearson and Newhouse split. Roger getting good blocking, now goes high and deep in the end zone, no good. Kenny Reeves right there with the tight end Billy Joe Dupree, and Reeves desperately trying to catch it, but he came up empty.
Kenny Reeves came over on a trade to the Atlanta Falcons to the Cardinals, and they tried to play him on the corner, but Kenny's corner days were gone. He'd lost a step, but he's still an excellent coverage at one-on-one man on almost any tight end in football.
And as big as Billy Joe Dupree is 6'4", Kenny Reeves is no midget. He is 6'3". So they had size against size down there. Reeves has 35 career interceptions starting this season. So if you go into his territory, you're liable to give the ball up.
He's going to get some, his share.
3rd and 4 from the 27. Staubach down the right side, complete to Drew Pearson, but he was out of bounds. So no catch.
Don't believe that he could have kept his feet in bounds. I believe he was too high and too close to the sideline, but we'll see. Roger Whirley he's working against. Let's see. No, I don't believe so. No way.
He just couldn't get him down. So 4th and 4 from the Cardinal 27. Staubach will give way to the talented leg and foot of Efren Herrera, and the pride of Guadalajara will try and kick it through, and then Dallas would be trailing by 1. It's up. It is good. Hey, boy, what a leg. Efren Herrera, 5'9", 190 out of UCLA, makes it even closer. 5:29 in the third quarter. There you have it.
You usually think of Firestone only on the road. But when you take a day to relax, you'll find Firestone stays right with you to share in the fun. Like children's balloons made of Firestone natural rubber latex. For padded protection, Firestone can supply rubber bumpers and urethane foam. And seat belts on thrillers like these. Under the counter, you'll find Firestone again in the stainless steel beverage containers. For smooth stops, steam locomotives rely on Firestone air brake hoses. Firestone air stroke actuators open the gates to fun. Inside, Firestone vinyl resins for stage floorings. So even when you take the day off, Firestone doesn't. For we believe as long as Firestone keeps thinking about people, people will keep thinking about Firestone.
Exuberant spirits here in St. Louis for both sides. The Cardinals are leading. The Cowboys are coming on. There's the Dallas scoring drive. 10 plays, 63 yards, and finally the field goal by Efren Herrera. So it is Cardinals 17 and the Cowboys 16. 5:29 to go in the third quarter. Efren Herrera will tee it up and kick it off. Standing deep for the Cardinals, the ever-present Terry Metcalf. He has Jerry Latin to his right, number 32, and to his left, he has Wayne Morris, number 24. So the special team for the Cowboys flexing their muscles, and we're about ready. 1 point separating the two, the Cardinals on top. Herrera, no knuckleball this time, and it's Metcalf at the 5, to the 20. 25, 30, 35, rolling across the 40-yard line, and the man who hit him was number 57, Bruce Huther, H-U-T-H-E-R. CBS Sports Spectacular will feature live coverage of the 59th running of the Jockey Club Gold Cup, $300,000 purse, the Chunichi Cup, the acclaimed competition, Nadia Comaneci and Nellie Kim, and the world's strongest men. That's all coming up next Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
And I wouldn't miss it. Nadia Comaneci and that Kim girl's pretty.
Marvelous. Okay, 1st and 10, and Hart's at the controls on the Cardinal 37. Pitch back to Metcalf. He slipped trying to cut away from Bob Brunig, and down he went, and Brunig just fell on him.
It was almost criminal what Tom Henderson did to a would-be blocker that time. Gracious. Just totally destroyed one of the backs coming out of the backfield. That Henderson's one heck of an athlete, though. Drafted him number 1 from what, Langston?
Langston.
Yeah, surprised everybody, but he's been a surprise.
Little school out of Oklahoma. On the Cardinal 34-yard line, Morris and Metcalf, the running backs, and Hart looking to the left over the middle, got Mel Gray. So Mel Gray takes it, tackled by Benny Barnes and Cliff Harris.
That Mel Gray will put you on the corner of your seat, too. Just about a 5-yard pattern downfield angle, and then about a 45-degree angle, a little slant pattern, letting that linebacker clear. You see that he has cleared, and Barnes in on the coverage there. Good job of coverage, good pass.
They're trying to strip that ball for him. Both Cliff Harris and Benny Barnes tried to take it away, but he wouldn't give. 1st and 10. On the Cardinal 48-yard line, as Hart now trying to generate a drive of his own. Wayne Morris in motion to the left. There's a give to Metcalf, but he ran into a crowd and still bulled his way out to just about midfield. Bob Brunig, Larry Cole, Harvey Martin, and Randy White. And I just made a terrible mistake. I mentioned the name of number 63 of the Dallas Cowboys, Larry Cole.
Oh, boy. You're not supposed to mention him. Nobody's supposed to mention him.
Tell the people why.
There he is. We have destroyed his whole life. Nobody's ever heard of Larry Cole before.
He tries to be Mr. Obscurity.
I'll tell you about the Zero Club he formed a little later.
Okay. 2nd and 8 from midfield. Hard on a draw to Metcalf, looking for running room, and he is dragged down behind, and he is picked up by Randy White.
The Zero Club is a club formed in Dallas by the players for people that have no personality, that never get any publicity, have no flair, have absolutely no charisma. Pat Toomey and Blaine Nye and Larry Cole were first started that. They were all members of the thing because nobody ever heard of them. They said Toomey's statement about Cole said he is the perfect zero.
Larry Cole, we might as well finish him off. 6'5", 260, 30 years old, went to Hawaii. He has spent 10 silent years in the NFL. 3rd and 8 from midfield. Uh-oh. Almost a mix-up in the backfield. Kyle just missed him, and down it goes. Aaron Kyle came out of nowhere, number 25, just missed getting Hart, and Hart just slammed the ball down into the rug.
Now
Watch 25.
There's a blitz you almost never see, a cornerback blitz. You see the back there, Wayne Morris not picking him up there. Very alert. Look at what Jim Hart does. He just absolutely grounded that ball, and it was a wise thing for him to do. There's Kyle right there, 25. There's Cliff Harris also blitzing. They send in everybody. And there's old Mr. Cole. You know what their motto for their club is?
What is that?
One for none and all for naught.
All for naught. Well, Terry Joyce has his punt, and a fair catch by Butch Johnson in a crowd. It was standing room only down there, just across the 25-yard line. With 2 minutes and 24 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter, Cardinals 17, Dallas 16.
I'm yours. I don't go with married women. What are you doing in our Granada? Granada? This is my Mercedes. Hold tight. Get your hands to my Cadillac. Cadillac? That's the Granada. Alone at last, beloved.
Beloved?
Where's my bride?
You got that Mercedes with another man.
Another man?
The new Ford Granada. One way to tell it from Cadillac or Mercedes is its sticker price. When America needs a better idea, Ford puts it on wheels.
Who is the #1 investment firm in the East? Who is the #1 investment firm in the Midwest? Who is the #1 investment firm in the South? Who is the #1 investment firm in the West? You know who. Merrill Lynch. All around America, more investors turn to Merrill Lynch than any other investment firm. Sure, there are lots of investment firms, but there's only one Merrill Lynch.
Logan's Run, the ultimate trip. Now on a new night and a new time. Monday starting at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
Don Coryell puzzled about his kicking game as the Cardinals put it in play 1st and 10 on their own 27-yard line. Staubach to Anthony Dorsett, and he gets out across the 35-yard line and bulls his way to the 40. Before we look at Dorsett again, we should tell you that last punt by Terry Joyce went 23 yards, and his punts today, he went 31, 27, 33, and 23. He had one blocked, and that could be a most important factor in the game.
It could very well be. Could very well be before this day is over.
So 1st and 10 as Dorsett carried it to the 40-yard line. Anthony in there with Robert Newhouse. And a handoff to Dorsett. The Cardinals trying to bring him down, and they can't. And they have to have a team meeting before they can get him down across the 45.
Look at that, brother. Moves, speed, acceleration, he's got it all. Well, I guess that's why he had such a successful career at Pitt. Watch how he bounces back against the flow this time. Sitting in the back to the right, he goes back to against the flow of the pursuit. And the rest of it's just Tony Dorsett.
He has now carried the ball 5 times. Are you ready? For 112 yards, because he picked up 77 in one great gulp for a touchdown. 2nd and 3 on the Cowboy 47. Golden Richards in a slot right, inside Drew Pearson. Staubach, play action fake to Dorsett, setting up and looking. Under a rush, throws it away.
Oh, they're not going to let him get away with that, are they?
Mike Dawson and Bob Bell were all over him, and all Staubach did was throw it to Clayton County.
There is nobody in the area. Absolutely nobody in the area. That's the second time today that Rogers gotten by with that.
The crowd doesn't like it. Coryell certainly doesn't like it. And it certainly appeared to be a most obvious call. You take a look.
Now, if you can find anybody in that area, you just call me up, because I sure couldn't. Roger Trott back there, and they're not going to let him get outside. You see Bell containing him there. Now, where is the man in that area? I did not see him. I saw a lineman over there.
So it is 3rd and 3 and an angry crowd here. The ball on the Dallas 47-yard line. Richards is left, Drew Pearson right. And Roger fumbles. It's picked up by Charlie Davis. He's to the 10, to the 5, and scores. Charlie Davis out of TCU. There's a flag down on the 5-yard line.
And Mike Dawson was in a fight with the official. Someone pushed him, it was official, and he turned to swing at him.
Charlie Davis is from a college in Texas, and he's going to try and beat Dallas. What a play.
Oh, buddy, that's a big break, a huge break. Retribution.
So after Roger Staubach was able to unload the play, watch this one now as he unloads to the opposing player.
There you see Mike Dawson, number 73. Follow him a little bit. A good rush there. Who was that on the outside? Was that, oh, yeah.
Zook.
Zook. John Zook.
The kick is good. And another fight starting as Charlie Cliff Harris arguing with J.V. Kane. Boy, they are simmering now. But Charlie Davis, an electrifying touchdown.
Wherever you may roam, you'll find our name is known. You can trust a Delco. Thanks, Delco. Delco Freedom Battery. When things are getting thick and you want to start real quick, you can trust a Delco. Thanks, Delco. Delco Freedom Battery. They've got the stuff when the starting's tough. You can trust a Delco. Thanks, Delco. Delco Freedom Battery. Delco Freedom. Thanks, Delco.
When do you say Budweiser?
After a good bout on the lake with the water ski.
In about 2 minutes. And that's about, what, 120 seconds?
When do you say Budweiser?
When I'm fishing and when I finish fishing.
Right after I finish painting this van.
Whatever I can. On a hot day like today.
Before I go to bed.
When you say Budweiser.
Budweiser.
You said it all.
Charlie Davis out of Texas Christian University and slightly out of his mind in joy and glory.
Well,
as the Cardinals have scored to take a 24-16 lead. Standing deep, Butch Johnson, Larry Brinson. Bakken will kick from the 35.
The Dallas Cowboys, frankly, look a little stunned. That happened so suddenly.
So Bakken is ready. 36 seconds to go in the third quarter. The kick will be handled by Butch Johnson on the 8 to the 20. Into a crowd and down at the 30-yard line. A fella named Eric Williams, number 55, just hurled himself at the wedge and jammed it up. But let's take another look at the big play and Davis's touchdown.
Make your own minds up on this, you Dallas fans, whether Roger Staubach's arm had gone forward. If so, it was a bad call by the officials. He's in the attempt of passing and his arm is moving forward. He shakes it loose right there, and it looked like to me that it was a very questionable call.
So it is 1st and 10 for Dallas on their own 30-yard line. Dorsett is back in there with Newhouse. Play action fake, and he's dragged down by Mike Dawson, who came out of nowhere.
Oh. Look at those Cardinals. They are charged up, aren't they? Woo. They are charged up. You can be sure that Roger Staubach and his boys will have them back mobilized again. He won't let it get out of control. just came from. She shot the gap in there.
It is 2nd and 16 on the Cowboy 24. 13 seconds left to go in the third quarter. The Cardinals 24, the Cowboys 16. Staubach to the right side to Butch Johnson. Lee Nelson pushes him out of bounds at the 39-yard line of Dallas. It is right on a borderline as to whether it's a first down or not.
Roger's bringing his troops back, though.
Crowd.
Aren't you seeing a good football game today? You're getting your money's worth today, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
It is just shy of the first down, which is another reason why they're chanting. 3rd and 1 on the Dallas 39 with 2 seconds left to go in the third quarter. 24-16 St. Louis. Pearson wide right. Dorsett is in there with Newhouse. Saldi and Dupre are the tight ends. Dorsett, and he has gotten the first down as he exploded by Mike Dawson. So that's the end of the third quarter, and what a quarter it has been. The St. Louis Cardinals 24, the Dallas Cowboys 16.
One step closer. One step closer. One step closer. That's what Exxon people say. One step closer. At the end of every day, Exxon's dedicated to finding energy for you. Energy for a strong America.
Hi, ever need to rent a car fast? Watch. Hertz, #1 club number 21586, arriving San Diego at 2 p.m. on RAL Flight 9. Returning it there tomorrow. Okay, thanks. That's all there is to it. When you're in the #1 club, nobody makes renting a car faster or easier than the Superstar. Even before you get there, your car is pre-assigned, your forms filled out. So rent a Ford fast from Hertz, the Superstar in rent-a-car.
Don Coryell spent 3 years with the Army paratroopers, and he is high flying today with his birds.
Used to be a little boxer, too. Used to box some in the service.
So Coryell, a most emotional coach right now, exhorting his team to hold on. Fourth quarter, the Cardinals lead by 8. Dallas with the ball 1st and 10 on their own 43. Dorsett, deep man out of the eye. Staubach to Dorsett.
Look at
and
that.
He gets across midfield, and I don't know how. He got by Niels. Zook almost had a shot at him. The defensive end on the right side was blown out by Newhouse. So Anthony Dorsett picked up a couple.
You did indeed pick that up. Watch the block of number 44, Bob Newhart, on the linebacker, kicking outside on Kenny Reeves. And look at the acceleration right here. How gracious. You know, you can't make me believe that an offensive line won't block a little bit harder for a guy with his ability, with Tony Dorsett's ability and explosiveness, because they know if they give him that daylight one time, he can take it all the way to the end zone.
And he's done it once today when he broke one for 77 yards and a touchdown. So it is 2nd down, 1 to go. The ball is now in Cardinal territory at the 48. Butch Johnson wide left. Jay Saldi in there at tight end along with Billy Joe Dupree. And here comes Newhouse, and he fights his way for the first down. He got across the 45-yard line handily. Burton Lawless doing a pretty good job at throwing a block number 66.
I'll say he is. He's playing himself a good football game today. Getting his little chance to get back in that starting lineup again. Herbert Scott, of course, had a groin injury, I believe it was, and he wouldn't be playing any today. Burton used to be a regular for the Cowboys and would like to get back in there again.
Fourth quarter score, Denver 23, Kansas City nothing. 1st and 10, Dallas on the Cardinal 43-yard line. Drew Pearson wide right. A play action fake to Dorsett. And Staubach going for the bomb to Pearson. He can't get it. Lee Nelson for the umpteenth time. The unknown soldier made the play, but there's a flag down there in the end zone.
Shades of Minnesota a few years ago in desperation when Roger Staubach cranked it up.
It'll be pass interference against Lee Nelson. who is a disconsolate figure. Here it is.
And you'll see the interference. He's lost sight of the ball altogether and just went ahead and played the man. That is obvious pass interference by Lee Nelson.
That is a 43-yard penalty going against the Cardinals. And, of course, earlier, there was a big penalty, a 42-yard penalty.
Defense, first down.
The ball is on the Cardinal 1-yard line, 43-yard penalty.
Well, Ben Scully, what do we expect now? We've seen a little bit of everything today.
The whole textbook. It's first and goal from the 1. Newhouse. Robert Newhouse stopped by a nest of Cardinals. So it'll be second and goal from the 1. It is 24-16 Cardinals. They lead by 8 with 13:41 to go.
Watch a goal line stand of the Cardinals. Mike Dawson, all that crowd. Bob Bell in there, Kenny Reeves, everybody jamming it up in there.
So second and goal from the 1. Newhouse and Dorsett. Dorsett.
What a ball.
Anthony Dorsett goes flying through for his second touchdown of the day, his 4th touchdown of the year, and of course the crowd still angry over the pass interference call that set it up.
Well, so they traded their place in the draft with Seattle, gave up 3 number 2 draft picks, but I don't think they're even a little bit disappointed. Tony Dorsett has been all that he was acclaimed to be. Over the top. Did you notice how they hit him and it didn't even shake him? Great balance.
In the least. Efren Herrera now trying to make it just a 1-point deficit. The kick is good. So the score, with 13 minutes and 15 seconds left to go in the ball game, the Cardinals 24 and the Cowboys 23. We'll return to Bush Memorial Stadium after this word from your local station. Holy mackerel.
If you're taking Valium, you could end up taking a bad trip. Find out why on 60 Minutes tonight on CBS.
Well, it's seat belts and crash helmets for a capacity crowd at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. The Cardinals 24, the Cowboys 23. 13 minutes and 15 seconds left to go in the ball game. The Dallas drive, 8 plays, 70 yards. The key, a 43-yard pass interference penalty that gave them first and goal on the 1. So 1 point separates them, the Cardinals leading. And Efren Herrera ready to kick it off. Another tough ball to handle. Deflected, bobbled by Jerry Smith, picked up by Terry Metcalf. And Metcalf gets it out to the 15 to the 18-yard line. Jerry Smith, who has played 15 years for the Cardinals, got his hand on the ball and couldn't hold it. However, Metcalf was able to get on it and make it. I'm saying Jackie Smith, of course.
Jackie Smith, that's right.
The all-time NFL tight end.
I'll say he is, too. He's quite a competitor, too. He doesn't like not being a starter for the Cardinals, but what's he going to do? J.B. Kane's doing the job.
First and 10 from the 18 now for the Cardinals. 13 minutes to go. In motion, Mel Gray. That's Metcalf going to pass. Now he's going to run. And he's to the 20 and almost to the 25. Is that remarkable?
Can he take a busted play and make the most of it? He could have lost 5-10 yards on that one, brought it right on back and picked up about 4 or 5. Oh, he's excited. He gets the maximum mileage out of it. There's a block over there, or a attempted block that just did not do anything to D.D. Lewis. Look at the moves here now. Just scrambles, keep his balance, and gets about 5 or 6 for it.
2nd down and 3 from the Cardinal 25-yard line. They lead by 1, 12 and a half left. And it's Wayne Morris being dragged down by D.D. Lewis shy of the 20-yard line. D.D. Lewis is another fellow who understudied a Dallas great by the name of Chuck Howley. And now D.D. is the man on the spot, 9-year veteran out of Mississippi State.
Saw Chuck Howley in Dallas last week, and he looks great.
And meanwhile,
you
Terry
keep on
Joyce,
practicing until you get it right.
Oh, boy. He might be faced with a bunch of hungry lions in a moment. It is 3rd and 9 from the 19. Hart, under some pressure, flips it out, and it's caught right on the 29-yard line by Ike Harris. He caught and rolled. We'll take another look. It's a 1st down.
Let's see if he came up off the ground that time like he might be hurt from the ball falling on that ball. Let's take a look at there. Ike Harris. I believe he did. A good diving catch, though, and the ball thrown perfectly by Jim Hart. The coverage was there. Let's look in on that Dallas rush. Harvey Martin and his crew. Too tall over there with Dan Deerdorf in a Mexican standoff.
So it's 1st and 10. Pat Tilley is now in there wide on the left side from the 29-yard line. Mel Gray to the right. Wayne Morris trying to find Metcalf block, and he does. And he gets out to the 40-yard line. Very close. In fact, I believe that's a 1st down. And Metcalf got a good block off in front of him.
Yes, he did. And Wayne Morris showing a little bit of kicking up his heels himself. He's a good-looking running back, isn't he? Look at Deerdorf over there. Much of the mannerisms of Terry Metcalf, as a matter of fact.
So he got it out to the Cardinal 39, 1st and 10, 10:37 left to go in the game. The Cardinals leading by 1. Hart quick to his fullback Morris across the 40. A reminder, the great television show 60 Minutes will be seen in its entirety following the conclusion of this game. And for you folks on the West Coast, it will be seen at its usual time.
And you're right. It is one of the best shows on television.
It is
I
indeed.
like it.
We're talking about one of the better shows on television. This ain't no bad crowd to hang around with.
This ain't no bummer.
No, 2nd and 9 from the 40 of the Cardinals. And Jim Hart has Tilley in a slot right. Hart getting great protection deep down the right side to Gray, and he overshoots him. Benny Barnes was right there with him, and Cliff Harris passed over. Tom Landry, who might have the most technical and complicated defensive setup of any team in the NFL. They tell me it takes years to learn it.
Any way that you look at that man, he's just got to be a great coach. I think Coryell put it to the tab on him the other day to me, and it just took me by surprise. He said he was comparing the two teams, and he said, we don't have the athletes at Dallas Cowboys. All their players are great athletes. And coaching, did you know that Tom Landry was a great coach?
What'd you say to that?
I said, well, I kind of looked at his record over the past 11 years and looked all right to me. He said, he is a great coach.
3rd and 9 from the Cardinal 40-yard line, and the backs are split now. They go slot left. Big rush, and down goes Hart. Harvey Martin had him on the 30-yard line, and Aaron Kyle went flying over the top.
And that's what they're doing now to combat that. They've been double-teaming Harvey Martin with a line, keeping a back in the backfield, and that time they just blitzed, took care of that back, and turned old Harvey loose. That up, boy, Harvey.
And they lost 10, so that drives it back to the Cardinal 30-yard line. And all day, we have been talking about an anxious Terry Joyce. There's a final, Atlanta toughened one out over San Francisco 7-0. And for all you folks watching that game, pull up a chair. Have we got something here? Joyce hits a ground ball down towards Butch Johnson, and he gets away from one man and is buried by a couple of others. Kenny Stone, number 23, hit him, but undismayed, Johnson stayed on his feet for another moment. Carl Allen finally knocked him down. So we've got 9 minutes and 18 seconds left to go as this big Dallas rush heats up hard, but the Cardinals lead by 1.
Excuse me, do they serve clams here?
No, and they don't serve turkeys either.
Pardon, monsieur. It's your clothes. You'd look better in Hagar slacks. Or a Hagar sport coat and slacks. Even a Hagar vested suit. A variety of outfits at prices that are easy to swallow. Voilà, monsieur. Table for one?
Make that a table for 2.
Hagar, because looking good makes you feel good.
When life's grind gets to you.
Go Mustang!
Mustang.
Let a Mustang take you away.
This is a great time to go Mustang because this year Mustang 2 is base sticker price less than last year.
Mustang.
The 78 Ford Mustang 2 T-Roof convertible.
Go Mustang!
So beat the grind. Go Mustang. A better idea from Ford.
Edith and Archie get a motel room. Sunday at 9, 8 Central and Mountain.
What are you doing that for? I don't want them to think there's anything wrong with us. Go on.
1st and 10 for Dallas on their own 33-yard line. Staubach has passed 16 for 27 for 131 yards, and he takes over on his own 33. Dorsett, deep man out of the eye. Butch Johnson, slot left, and it's Dorsett. Hit low by Mike Dawson, number 73, and down he goes. A couple of numbers. Hart is 7 for 25, 151 yards and 1 touchdown, a 60-yard beauty to Mel Gray. Staubach, 16 for 27, 131. His touchdowns, a 77-yard scamper from Dorsett, and Dorsett from 1 yard out.
And for those of you just joining us, Anthony Dorsett has been superb.
2nd and 6 from the 37. Staubach going to Drew Pearson, and he just did do a toe dance and caught it. Lee Nelson unable to break it up.
So smooth the way this man operates, so fluid, just almost effortless, keeping those feet in bounds, no effort whatsoever. He was one of those free agents the Cowboys came on. In fact, 2 of them made All-Pro last year. I think Cliff Harris, was he a free agent? One of the 2 of them.
Sure. I was just going to say that Drew Pearson now has caught 6 for 55 yards. What a great show. Logan's Run, mind-bending adventure. 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central and Mountain Time.
I like it. That mind-bending, I like it.
3rd and 1 on the 43. Dorsett, he ran into a group, and the group is led by Dawson, number 73, a 2-year man out of Arizona. Big Mike doing a great job plugging up the middle.
He is that. He's had some good support all day, too, from Tim Carney. He has been good. Watch Tim Carney and Mike Dawson this time. They just plug up that middle.
Dorsett has carried now 10 times, Alex, for 133 yards.
And that's saying enough about a guy that they expected to do just that.
1st and 10 from the Dallas 45. 8 minutes left to go in the game. 24-23 Cardinals. Golden Richards inside Drew Pearson, slot left. Dorsett with Newhouse out in front of him. Down he goes. Newhouse, along with Jim Cooper, number 61, were pulling to try and clear it out, but there was no way.
This is so typical of Roger Staubach, the way he handles things. He never loses his poise, never lets a game get out of control. He can be trailing by a couple of touchdowns. He keeps bringing them back, gets 3 one time, takes 6 when he can get it. He's just a great field general. He has that ability that a lot of quarterbacks lack. He has pure and simple leadership.
Well, Roger now relying on that. You can see his numbers as he brings them out. 2nd and 7 from the 48. Pearson right. Butch Johnson left. And Staubach throwing it high and deep, and Roger Worley breaks it up and hold everything. They're going to call a penalty.
Oh, that
Drew
is not
Pearson.
that is not going to be received well here in Busch Stadium, is it?
Butch Johnson came over to see if Drew Pearson is all right. That looks like a 39-yard penalty. There was a 43-yard penalty against the Cardinals moments ago.
Well, as you at home, you make up your mind. Roger Staubach just decided to go for the bomb all of a sudden. You never can figure this guy. He throws it up there and lets old Drew Pearson run under it. It's underthrown, as you see, and I guess if the penalty was on anybody, it'd be Roger Worley, and it might be for unnecessary roughness rather than pass interference. That right elbow of his might have... Yeah, you could call it.
You might. And it was. Lee Nelson was down there with him, but it's 1st and 10 on the Cardinal 12, and his crowd is furious. Golden Richards left, Butch Johnson right. Staubach going into the right corner to Johnson, broken up, and again Lee Nelson, and there's a flag on the play.
There's old Zook, John Zook, back healthy again.
Illegal procedure against Dallas.
People in Atlanta, they think they're watching the ex-Falcons play. There's Kenny Reeves, who just came over from Atlanta a couple of years ago.
Illegal motion.
So an illegal motion and a 5-yard penalty. It was 1st and 10 from the 12. It'll be 1st and 15 from the 17.
Illegal motion. Offense line.
So 1st and 15 from the Cardinals 17. 6:58 to go. The Cardinals leading by 1, 24-23. Tony Hill wide left. Golden Richards wide right. Dorsett and Newhouse, the running backs. Staubach flipping it down for Golden Richards, and he's got it. Touchdown. He took it away from Lee Nelson.
Nelson just turned his back on it, never found the ball at all. And what a beautiful play by Roger Staubach, and an adjustment on the football by Golden Richards. Gracious, that was pretty. That's the advantage you get over a defensive back that will turn his head from the quarterback and not be able to find the ball. He's virtually helpless on a pass like that. He just got to be lucky. As you see, Lee Nelson never finds the ball, and a great adjustment by Golden Richards.
So it's a 17-yard touchdown pass from Staubach to Golden Richards. Efren Herrera now gets it up, and it's good. And so the Cowboys have come from behind to take a 6-point lead with 6:53 to go in the game. The Cowboys 30 and the Cardinals 24.
Are you still chained to? Gotcha. The rechargeable Norelco rotary razor lets you walk away, free from nicks and cuts. Its 36 surgical steel rotary razor blades are safely protected inside 3 floating heads to give you a comfortable shave that's razor close, razor smooth, for up to 3 weeks on a single charge. The rechargeable Norelco rotary razor. It lets you walk away from gotcha.
Should have bought Mobile One. The oil, it saves you gas, you know.
Should have bought Mobile One. Helps you start at 35 below.
Should have bought Mobile One. Engine temperature hits 500. You're cool.
Should have bought Mobile One. You only change it every...
Entirety following the conclusion of this game, and for all you good folks on the West Coast, you'll be able to see it at its regular time. And for a lot of folks who have watched regional games and have now hooked up to see this one, pull up and take a look, because you're looking at a dandy.
I'll tell it.
Efren Herrera kicks it down to the left side, picked up by Metcalf, fumble. Terry's got it again at the 15 to the 20, gets away from Henderson to the 35, spinning at the 40, and goes down across the 40. Scott Laidlow along with Jay Saldy making the hit as he got it out to the 40. Terry Metcalf.
Oh, has he excited us this afternoon. He's done just about everything. He's caught passes, he's thrown passes, he's returned punts, kickoffs. The guy is just something. He brings the excitement back to the play. Brother. And look at the block, and they go. Look at it for him. What a reckless little performer.
1st and 10 for the Cardinals on their own 40-yard line. They trail by 6. We've got 6:40 left to go in the game. And Hart's going to send it up. A little release to Morris at the 40. To the 45 and knocked down at the 47-yard line. A big mix-up as Cliff Harris and D.D. Lewis finally knocked him off balance. By the way, they call them the Cardiac Cardinals. You know why? In 1975, they won 5 games in the final minute. In the last 3 years, they've won 32 victories, 15 by less than a touchdown, 3 points, 4 of them by 1 touchdown, 19 of their wins by 4 points.
You betcha. They're never out of it.
So 2nd and 2 from their own 49. Back stay in. Hart cranks up, going deep over for Mel Gray, but he wasn't anywhere close.
Some kind of mix-up in the pattern that time. Mel Gray kind of turned it on in. I think he thought he was going to take off inside on him deep.
So that will make it 3rd and 2 from the Cardinal 49. We have 5 minutes and 50 seconds left to go in the ball game. The Cardinals led 10-3, 17-13 at halftime, 24-16. But Dallas has scored 14 points in the 4th quarter to take a 30-24 lead. So it's 3rd and 2. Jackie Smith in there at tight end now. And Wayne Morris has nowhere to go.
No, sir. Absolutely nowhere to go. What do you do now,
what do you do?
Yeah.
The crowd is hollering go. But after you saw that big, marvelous Dallas defense stiffened to hold Wayne Morris, do you try to challenge him again? 4th down and about 2 feet, not quite a yard. 4th and 1, 5:27 to go. They go for it. Wayne Morris, he's got it. There's a flag on the play. Morris takes it to the 45, but there's a flag on the play.
Yeah, that flag was thrown mighty soon, too.
Offsides, Dallas.
There you go. Look at that hulk of a man.
So Dan Deerdorf.
Yes, sir.
Offensive captain for the Cardinals.
Somewhere. See if we can detect the offsides there in the Dallas.
Defense, middle guard, offside.
Yeah, a little movement there. I believe it was Larry Cole. I think it was Larry Cole. I don't know that I'd gambled that with that much time left on the clock or not. I don't know that I'd have done that, but then Coryell's record speaks pretty favorably for his coaching.
Boy, it sure does. All right, the ball is on the Dallas 44-yard line. 1st and 10, 5 minutes and 12 seconds to go. Dallas leading by 6. The back stay in. Hart down the right side, and he overthrows Mel Gray. Mark Washington and Charlie Waters there. The crowd wanting interference called, but it is not to be. And an unruffled Tom Landry takes it all in.
Oh, he dodged the bullet again that time. Mel Gray, that Charlie Waters, fully intended on separating him from his helmet.
Final score, Denver defeating Kansas City 23-7. If you tuned in late or if you are just joining up, one reason the crowd is so active about pass interference, Dallas has had 2 big pass interference penalty plays that have set up touchdowns. And they have come from behind to lead 30-24. 5 minutes and 6 seconds left to go. 2nd and 10 on the Dallas 44. Pat Tilley wide right. Metcalf just flaring to the right, but Hart down the middle, and he overthrows Kane. Charlie Harris there to hit him to make sure, and Harris didn't like the fact that Kane hit him back. And now Brunick said, what's wrong? Why would you do that to our man, Cliff Harris?
Let's see what did happen here. Let's take a look at it from the end zone and see what we did find. Brunick back in that coverage there. Froze him for a minute. Randy White putting on a good rush there, I guess. Look at that Cliff Harris. He will hit you. I didn't see anything wrong with that.
Roger Finney coming out of the ball game now. Timeout for the moment. Finney, number 60. And Jim Hart now with a very big play call. There's Roger. What a day he's had trying to keep out Harvey Martin.
I'll say. He has had his hands full all day long, but so many other people do too. Nothing to be really ashamed of.
3rd and 10 from the Dallas 44. Hart gets it off deep to his man Kane, and he's got it inside the 20-yard line. He beat Mel Renfro by coming back. Ike Harris, number 84, making the catch inside the 20.
Once again, Jim Hart. Under pressure, he seems to perform better. They had blitz on that time. That kind of surprises me about that Dallas having the blitz on. The ball thrown slightly underthrown. Had it been thrown perfectly, it would have been a touchdown. Mel Renfro, twice he's been victimized today. Oh, we picked up all the blitzers there nicely. Cliff Harris still not giving up on the thing. Larry Cole again.
So Ike Harris makes the big catch, 1st and 10 on the Dallas 17-yard line. 4:28 left in the game. Cowboys leading by 6. Hart to Wayne Morris, and Randy White hit him from behind and decked him immediately. Number 54.
I find myself, I've watched Dallas play for the last couple of years, and I find myself in pressure situations watching Tom Henderson, because if there's a big play to be made, the guy has a knack for doing it.
Roger Finney has come back in. Hank Allison coming out. So Finney took a breather. Now he'll go back to trying to tie up Harvey Martin. There's Cole and Jones and Henderson. And here come the Cardinals, 2nd and 10 on the Dallas 17. Hart on a draw to Wayne Morris. And he got inside the 15 and is knocked down. They'll spot it at the 14-yard line. 60 minutes, Rhoda, on our own, all in the family, Alice and Kojak. What an all-star lineup, and they will be seen in their entirety this evening.
All in the Family's still one of my favorite shows. I like it.
Well, talking about all-star lineups, they go head-to-head now. 3rd and 7 from the Dallas 14-yard line. 3:04 left to go in the game. Hart fakes once, goes high and over Kane. They're claiming interference. It will not be called. J.V. Kane thought that Charlie Waters, number 41, had interfered, but they didn't call it.
So I want to tell you one thing.
And to you folks who saw Washington beat Tampa Bay 10-0, we have a lot more going on here. 30-24 Dallas. 2 minutes and 53 seconds left to go in the ball game. The Cardinals have it 4th and 7 on the Dallas 14-yard line. We can take a look at that last play, Alex.
And I think there was some contact between Charlie Waters and J.V. Kane here. I might be wrong. See the pump there. Too tall, could not bat it down. And there was some contact, but I don't think it was flagrant.
4th and 7 from the 14. Furious charge. He throws it, and it's intercepted by Cliff Harris. And Terry Metcalf missed the tackle, and he finally goes down at the 10-yard line. Cliff Harris, 2 times All-Pro, 3 times in the Pro Bowl.
Oh,
makes the big interception, and that just about took the tail feathers from the Cardinals. 30-24 Cowboys, 2:44 left.
Where does your money go after you put it in your bank? Well, some of it's right here. Building your neighborhood, construction loans and home mortgages. But also with municipal bonding, money for your public parks, and money for your schools. Today, America's banks have over $80 billion invested in communities like yours. So if you believe in your community, there's no better place to put your money than your bank. America's bankers, helping you change things for the better.
Schlitz wants you to have a ball. Pass the word, pass the word.
Hey, now's the time to pick up plenty of Schlitz.
Pass the word, pass the word, pass the word.
Because the Schlitz football offer is here. Look for this display at participating stores and save up to $5 on an official Wilson football. Come on.
Pick up Schlitz and have a ball. Pass the word, pass the word, pass the Schlitz.
We've got 2 minutes and 44 seconds left to go in the ball game. The Cowboys 30, the Cardinals 24, and Tom Landry has just seen one of his clutch performers, Cliff Harris, come up with a 4th down interception, and now Roger Staubach will try and move them out from their own 10-yard line. Drew Pearson wide left. Dorsett is in there with Newhouse. 2 tight ends, Dupre and Saldi, and it's Newhouse trying to follow Donovan's block, and there's a big brutal battle right there at the 10. Mike Dawson, among others.
If you're thinking about going someplace, the game is over. Please don't. The Cardinals are just always exceptional in the last 2 minutes.
The Cardinals have elected to take a timeout.
Bobby Newhouse with that low center of gravity. Look how he gets underneath everybody. He's hard to knock off his feet.
So it will be 2nd and 10 from the Dallas 10-yard line. Here is our big all-star lineup on CBS for tonight. 60 Minutes, followed by Rhoda, and then the premiere of On Our Own. Then All in the Family, followed by Alice, and then Kojak. What a tremendous all-star lineup. And they'll be all coming up right here this evening in their entirety, right here on CBS. Well, Roger Staubach talking to Tom Landry. That's a familiar scene on television screens for these many years. Staubach 9 years at the controls. Meanwhile, the Cardinals trailing by 6, 2 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the game. It'll be 2nd and 10. This is a timeout, St. Louis. Hart 9 for 32, 186 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Staubach 16 for 29, 153 yards, 1 touchdown. There you see the timeouts remaining. The runners, Dorsett 11 for 136 yards, would lead the pack. And of course he picked up 77 on 1 carry. 2nd and 10 from the 10. Butch Johnson in a slot inside Drew Pearson right. Staubach going for Drew Pearson. He's all alone. And Drew Pearson being chased by Mike Sensabaugh. He's gone.
Do you believe that? You just don't know about Roger Staubach.
There is a flag on the play, however. Way down by the end zone, a flag on the play.
Who in the world would have thought up that play? Now, Tom Landry had something to say about it, I'm sure, because of them huddling over there, but you just don't know about Roger.
90 yards down the drain on that. It's against Dallas.
That would have been the last thing I'd look for.
Offense, 61, holding.
Jim Cooper caught holding, number 61. And what a spot to be in. You've just blown a 90-yard touchdown. It is 2nd and 15 from the 5-yard line. So Jim Cooper, who is listed 3rd on the 3 deep. You can just imagine how he feels right now. He's out of Temple, a 22-year-old rookie. He aged rapidly after that play.
I'll say he did, or he will when he watches the film.
2nd and 15 from the 5-yard line. We've got 2:22 to go. Dallas leading by 6. Richards wide left. It's Anthony Dorsett going nowhere. Charlie Davis, number 76, wrapped him up. The same Davis who ran with a fumble for a touchdown. The Cardinals asking for time. 2 minutes and 9 seconds left to go. 3rd down, 15 to go. They moved it out to about the 6-yard line. The Cardinals trailing by 6. And Staubach will pay Tom Landry yet another visit.
This is a long way from over with 2 minutes and 9 seconds remaining, but it's so important to Cardinals, to them, this game, the outcome of it. You know, they lose today, they're in big trouble. Dallas, of course, they can afford to lose today. They came in today's game 3-0, Cardinals 1-2. It's not a must game for the Cowboys, but gracious, it is a big game for the Cardinals.
We can take a look at some final scores right now. Philadelphia 28 over the New York Giants 10. The New York Jets edging Buffalo 24-19. Oakland defeating Cleveland 26-10. New England shutting out Seattle 31-0. Cincinnati knocking off Green Bay 17-7. Miami and Baltimore slugging it out. Baltimore the winner 45-28. And Pittsburgh not only losing, but evidently losing their great quarterback, Terry Bradshaw. Houston 27, Pittsburgh 10. San Diego blanked Hank Stram's New Orleans club that scored over 40 points last week, 14-0. Minnesota edging Detroit 14-7. Atlanta, in a battle of zeros, finally got on the scoreboard to beat San Francisco 7-0. And Washington, in a defensive battle against a very tough Tampa Bay defensive team, beat him 10-0. Denver 23, Kansas City 7. And there's our beauty with 2 minutes and 9 seconds left. 3rd and 14 for Dallas on their own 6-yard line. Dupre has Saldi in the backfield, another tight end to block for Staubach. Roger from the end zone. Throwing, and is it complete? No good. Intended for Drew Pearson, but he was out of bounds.
Well, predictably, that's who you would go. That's where Roger goes so often in pressure situations and clutch situations, to Drew Pearson. That time Drew could not keep it in bounds.
That's Mike Dawson hollering at the official.
Lee Nelson playing an outstanding game today. He had the coverage over there, bumped him out of bounds. Roger doesn't hesitate to throw out that end zone. There you see it.
There's a flag that has been thrown, and that's why Mike Dawson was hollering. And they put the ball on the 21-yard line of Dallas.
73, defense, roughing the passer.
Charged against Mike Dawson. Roughing the passer against Dawson. What a crusher that is.
Once again, the lack of experience. Second-year man Mike Dawson. Spinning off the block there. And there could well have been. He'll learn in time. Gracious, that hurt the Cardinals.
So the penalty by Cooper offset a 90-yard touchdown, and now the penalty by Dawson gives Dallas a great opportunity. Here comes Robert Newhouse. Didn't quite get it to the 25. As you see, there are 2 minutes left to go in the ball game, and what a ball game it has been. And Dallas trying to hold on to it, leading by 6, 30-24.
Introducing the Ford in your future, the new Ford Fairmont Wagon, a new wagon designed for today and the years ahead. The Fairmont Wagon has excellent mileage ratings, but while it is trim and lean outside, Fairmont has almost 90% of the passenger space of most large wagons, and with the seat down can swallow up all this cargo. Yet for all this, the new Fairmont Wagon, as shown, is actually sticker price less than this little VW Rabbit. Test drive Fairmont, the newest, better idea from the Wagon Master.
You don't have to lose sleep worrying about that drive to work tomorrow. Not when you've got Firestone Snowbiters going with you. To dig you out and pull you through, they've got 2 sets of deep-biting teeth. And in between, traction bars for quiet running and long mileage. In radials, bias, or retreads, they'll put teeth in your winter driving. Firestone Town and Country Snowbiters. Pleasant dreams.
Well, a marvelous football game to be followed by great shows. 60 Minutes, Rhoda, the premiere of On Our Own. Then All in the Family, Alice and Kojak, an all-star lineup to be seen in their entirety this evening right here on CBS. 2nd and 6 from the Cowboy 25. They just got a big penalty going against the Cardinals. Newhouse and Dorsett out of the eye. Drew Pearson wide left, and now in motion. It is Dorsett. He just went leaping over Charlie Davis, who was on the ground, number 76, to pick up the yards. And Davis hurt his leg and is just slowly getting up while Tom Landry sends Butch Johnson in with a play. One left for the Cardinals. So Dallas with 3 timeouts left. They're going to try and hold on to the ball. 1:33 and the clock is going.
Don't believe they're going to get their hands on it again.
Doesn't look that way. They had the chance. A big break when the penalty against Cooper, and a bad break the penalty against Dawson. 3rd and 2 from the 29. Here comes Dorsett. A great play by Kenny Reeves, the strong safety. Robert Newhouse tried to get Kenny Reeves out of there, and number 36 wouldn't budge and tied it up.
Frankly, I'm a little surprised in that play selection by Roger. Pitch out is kind of hard to use in a situation like that. And a rookie, I don't believe so.
When you walk through the lobby of a Napa store, you only get a hint of what Napa really has to offer. There's much more, because if we put just one part from every kind of vehicle that Napa has to offer in this lobby, you wouldn't have room to walk. So we put them in this Napa shopping guide instead. Walk through the lobby of your local Napa store today and pick up your free copy. Your Napa store is a great auto supply store, but they've got more, much more. That's NAPA. We help keep America moving.
All right, 1 minute and 8 seconds to go. It's 4th and 3 on the Dallas 28. Danny White is coming in to punt. He'll be kicking from his 15. Terry Metcalf is all alone on his 30. What a finish. What a ball game. We'll see if the Cardinals are coming. No. And Danny White gets it away off to the right side and out of bounds, and we'll see where they spot it. The first look, it will put the Cardinals in pretty good field position.
Still plenty of time. There's 1 minute and 2 seconds. And with
1-2.
guys like Mel Gray and that
Except
crowd.
no timeouts for the Cardinals.
Oh, there's ways, though.
They're going to spot it on the Cardinal 45-yard line. So Jim Hart trying to lead his Cardinals 55 yards. And the Cowboys 30, the Cardinals 24 with 1 minute to go. Ike Harris wide left, Mel Gray wide right. Kane the tight end on the right side. Wayne Morris, Terry Metcalf the running backs. The backs stay in to block. And Hart needs the blocking and finally gets it down to the right side, and it's going to be intercepted, intended for Mel Gray, and it was Charlie Waters, number 41, who made the interception.
Well, there you go. Those 2 safeties of the Dallas Cowboys. Cliff Harris just a little while ago with his interception, and now Charlie Waters. A ball that I know Jim Hart did not want to throw. Throwing a ball clear across the field after having to scramble and run around the pocket. The timing, it just had to throw it too late, too far. Charlie Waters not about to let him get behind him. Well, so it's a big play from the young man from a Clemson University.
Well, we have 54 seconds left to go. We would like to thank our producer, Chuck Milden, our director, Sandy Grossman, our statistician, Dr. Bob Woods, for sending you this ball game. And a reminder, the CBS Sports Spectacular next Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Live, the full coverage of the Jockey Club, the Chinichi Cup, and the Strongmen's competition. And Staubach just goes looking for a hole. 50 seconds left to go, and the Cowboys with 3 timeouts, and the Cardinals have none. And so the Cardinals have had all their tail feathers pulled here. A tough ball game, pass interference going against the Cardinals, then a 90-yard touchdown play called back because of a penalty against Dallas Cowboys. Then Don Coryell saw what appeared to be a big play wiped out on a penalty against the Cardinals. And so penalties have really taken their toll and decided the issue in the waning moments.
I could agree with you. Yes, sir.
They just run it out here, and there's not a thing the Cardinals can do about it. So Dallas will remain victorious. They'll be 4-0, and the Cardinals suffer perhaps a mortal defeat. 1-3, but what a showdown. The Cardinals led 10-3. The Cardinals led 17-13 at the half. the Cardinals led 24-16 at the end of 3 quarters. But 2 touchdowns in the 4th period for Dallas, and the Cardinals lose it as a great Dallas ball club hangs on to win it 30-24. Tom Landry has now won 141 games in his career, the 6th winningest coach in history.
A guy I know tells me this new Sunbeam adjustable groomer razor is the greatest shaver ever made. Well, I say, so what? I'm a blade man. He says, try it and you won't be. He's right.
Here's how Sunbeam's new groomer razor works. 12 stainless steel blades cut at 8,000 strokes a minute through the thinnest shaving head you can get. Stands whiskers up and shears them off, at or below the skin line.
You a blade guy? Try this. It may be the last time you use a blade.
Well, a reminder on the heels of a marvelous ball game here in St. Louis that saw the Cowboys battle from behind and then stubbornly hold on to win it 30-24. You have the prospects of a marvelous evening yet to come. 60 Minutes, Rhoda, the premiere of On Our Own, then All in the Family, followed by Alice, and then Kojak. All those great programs will be seen in their entirety this evening right here on the CBS television network. And for the Cowboys, who perhaps came in a little bit flat, they were undefeated 3-0. For the Cardinals, as Alex Hawkins had said, they were sky high because they felt it was a game they had to win. And the Cardinals got out in front, but finally, in the last quarter, the Cowboys surfaced the way they can and won it 30-24.
Come on, old trademark. Time for your walk. Where will you take me? Sure wish you could talk. I know what you'd tell me. How your family began with the same Levi's blue jeans worn by this man. Hey, here comes more Levi's, red, yellow, and blue. Freewheeling kiddos are wearing them too. And what a surprise. Look who's been window shopping for clothes. Yeah, a gal in her Levi's instinctively knows of your special appeal. Enough of this kissing, little registered mark. Time that we meet some guys by the park. Dressed in your newest edition. Sums it up right there. Levi's Sportswear. Hey, trademark. This looks like the place where tomorrows begin. Your family's future. Sure looks like it should. That's right, little trademark. Levi's don't have to be blue. Just have to be good.
The NFL Today is a presentation of CBS Sports.
This is CBS.